Good evening. We return. Roleplay Cafe. Upper right is Mr. Eric Lawson. Excuse me, upper left. Upper right is Donnie Jackson. Beside me at the bottom is Del Branham. And I am the humble GM here, for our White Box Fantastic Medieval Adventure game. And we are playing Island of Suul. I don't know what session it is. It doesn't matter. These are new characters on a new adventure. We didn't have all of our people, so we decided to try something a little different. Okay, so first off, what I need to do is I'm going to roll for all of your characters, to see which one of you already has a tat, right? The tattoo is not so relevant in this country, but it's relevant in the Unamine. And this is just to see how long you've been in the country and to see if you have the tattoo. Matter of fact, I'll have you roll it. Roll anything but craps, and your character will have the Unamine tattoo on one of their forearms. So if you'll go ahead, Eric, and just roll, as long as you don't roll a 7, sir, on 2d6. I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear. Don't crap out. Just don't crap out, right?
11.
I got a 10.
Okay. So you guys all have the Untal, which is basically it's basically an identification, magical identification tattoo that's almost necessary in the Unamine, right? Which is the Elven territory. Not so important here. Okay, Del, did you roll for your character? Just don't crap out. No, you can crap out, won't matter.
Okay, it's 9.
9, okay. So you guys all have the Untal tattoo, okay? And we'll worry about your other characters later as far as that, if that comes up. Okay, and then you're going to be traveling. This will be quite a bit of travel. So what I do is I need all 3 of you. There's going to be 3 particular jobs. One of you will all have to be in control of. One will be the camp master, the person who selects the camps and makes the camps and is responsible for the camps. And then one that's going to be the leader, the one that does the trailblazing for the group. And last will be the responsible for the watch. Will be responsible for watching, listening, and even for the camp watch. So I don't know who wants to do what. But if you're doing the watch, you can add your wisdom modifier to any die check. So if you got a wisdom modifier, you might want to be that one. If you're doing the campsite, you might want your intelligence, because that's going to be an intelligence modifier for the camping. And then last but not least will be the trailblazer. The trailblazer will be the constitution modifier if you'd have one. As you are going to be, trailblazing.
I'll do camp.
Oh, Dale's doing camp?
Donnie's doing camp. I'm doing
You're going to lead the way?
Yeah.
Okay, so Talmar is our trailblazer. All right, Hilda is our camp master. And, of course, Ulla is our watch. And that means you're going to be, basically making checks for stuff like that. Okay, so we begin in the winter. It's still winter, by the way. It's actually simultaneously happening in conjunction with your other characters at the Baalgard mountain, right, where your characters have just escaped that town and are talking to Unlongus. So this is the same simultaneous period. However, you are in the north side of what is called the Canyon of the Devils. You are in the gap. You are actually coming from the gap, which is southwest. Southwest. You're headed northeast on what's called the northern trail. Headed for the foggy forest. You have been asked by the king's men, not the king himself, to go to the death cry for the Karagon dwarf clan, who resides in what's called the Stone City, deep inside the foggy forest, as their god, the dragon Kara, is in her death cry, meaning she is in her last breaths. They're about to lose their ancient dragon, and that means that this clan could fracture and become a chaotic, dangerous threat. They could also join another clan like the Baalgard, which is the biggest concern, or who knows what could come of this clan. So you have been traveling now for a few days, and what I'm going to need is the trailblazer to set our course. So you need to make a 1d6 check for me.
+1 is 4.
Okay, +1 is 4. Okay, fantastic. All right, and you're traveling through the snow. It's not as cold as it might be in the southern region. For some reason, it's you've heard through the grapevine that the South is in the worst cold snap in recollected history. Fortunately for you, it's just winter, and there's a little snow on the ground. There are days where there's some flurries and wind, but nothing crazy. You have traveled now for a handful of days, and you've approached the forest. You can see the forest from here near the second half of the first day. Leaving a garrison, you set out with your entourage of helpers and baggage handlers. You have all of the gear that you need. You do not have horses. You do not have wagons. They're carrying whatever extra gear that you might need. You can see the forest from here. There's a chance you've probably been around it or in it. You definitely know of it. The forest is not. It's not a traditional forest in that suddenly there's a tree line and the forest starts. As you progress toward the foggy forest, it gets thicker. The grass gets higher. There's more bushes. There's more lower trees. It's as if it progresses into a dense, large forest, almost a jungle type atmosphere. But it doesn't have a traditional just tree line where you walk up and there's the trees and we're into it. You have to work your way through it. There may be roads that are used by the indigenous peoples, and the dwarfs may have roads, but you guys wouldn't be aware of many of these unless you were from this region. And you're going to have to trailblaze through this. And by about 4 in the afternoon, you arrive at the first challenge, which is this deeper grass as it thickens up, and you're starting now to pass through bushes, and you literally have to trailblaze. You have to bushwhack. You may have to find your way by picking your route through. You may have to cut with swords or axes or something you have. Right now, though, thanks to your trailblazer, you have been able to achieve some foothold into the initial forest. This is on the southeast edge of the foggy forest. You do know the stone city sits somewhere in this dense forest. You've heard stories that eventually you'll find this huge stone city. It would be time to set camp. So we need our camp master to find a camp. If you'll make a roll for me.
You want a D20?
Oh, no. D6 is almost for all of this. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yep.
You're fine. All right. It is a 4 with my intelligence.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. All right. So tell me what you're looking for your camp, for your group.
I'm trying to find something that's kind of in the open, big enough for us to set up a fire, get going, but enough coverage that no one can really see us.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. All right. So you're able to sort that out. You're getting that camp set, and then we need to decide on our watch. This will be Ulla, and at the same time, you're making a roll not only to set your watch for the evening, Ulla, but is it Ulla or Ulla?
Ulla.
Ulla. Excuse me, Ulla. You are also going to be required here. This is going to decide, too, whether you think the camp is safe.
Roll a 3.
Okay. Your instincts tell you she's done a pretty good job. It's not ideal, but again, in this conditions, you're not certain there is such a thing as ideal in this dense, thick brush. You believe it can be defended. You're pretty certain you can probably have a minimal watch. You don't feel too exposed. However, it's not perfect. So that would be entirely up to you whether you want to set a watch.
Have we run into any type of wildlife on our way?
Not yet.
Nothing.
So the Northern Trail is a major troop movement route for many of the Suulan armies to get from the King and the northern regions quickly to the Gap. And the Gap is a huge open valley in which there's lots of skirmishes and war. So because of this, most of the things you see on the road are travelers, merchants, other Suulan army, and outcasts. Outcasts are treasure hunters, seekers.
So we have seen other people on the road.
Yep. But as far as
hostile.
Right, and as far as animals, this is a pretty dense. The forest itself you don't know much about, but at least this area, because of the army and troop movements, the reality is there probably isn't a whole lot of game to be had.
Yeah.
You know, these soldiers they have enjoyed most of the game over the last who knows how long, and they may rely on other sources of food.
I still say
Mhm.
we need to make watches.
Okay.
It's just to be safe.
Okay. So you rolled a 3, right? Okay. So
Yes.
you're going to set a watch, which is going to just it'll give you a bonus against certain things. So you don't have to make another roll, right? Okay. So what this means is if any of you, so right now, as the night wears on, nothing untoward. You do manage to sleep relatively well, despite the cold, despite the rugged terrain. If you are a spellcaster and you needed to memorize or study, you would have to make a check for that in this terrain. She did a good job, but not good enough. If you needed to heal, you would have had to make an extra roll to heal. But fortunately, I don't think any of you are in bad shape, right?
No.
Well,
Spells get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
well, I am a magic user. I do have a book, and I need to memorize.
Yeah, I have some spells that I need to make sure.
Okay. So because of this is partial rest, not perfect quality camp, I'm going to have you make a basic roll. Just don't roll a 1 on the die 6, and you can memorize your spells.
5.
Okay, so you can memorize your whatever spells you need to memorize, right? Okay.
Gotcha.
The better the camp, you won't have to make those checks, right? Okay. Okay, so again, next morning, cold. Everybody's bringing up camp. They're tearing down the tents. They're putting out the fires. You did not, again, hear anything crazy. Your baggage guys, the people you had on watch, Ulla, have told you that nothing at all last night was out of the ordinary.
That's good.
And you can trust they probably didn't sleep. So you can believe that was probably legit. Okay. So again, you need to head north west into this foggy forest, but that's all you know. The trailblazer will have to set our trail for us, and that's going to decide whether we make good time or poor time.
5.
Okay, let's take a look. 5. Okay, fantastic. Bushwhacking, picking his way, nice and easy. You managed, sir, to find what appears to be a trail. Appears to be maybe a normal trail that these dwarves may use to find their way through the forest. And you make great time. Midday, beyond midday, you get to a clearing. This clearing, as you come to it, you start seeing large stones. They've cleared forest. And when you look around from this trail, this forest is dense. This is the kind of thing you could literally just be hung in, caught in. So in a way, it's good you found this trail. But to your right, about just past midday, a huge stone block, and this stone block has been hewed. The dwarf Ulla would recognize immediately. This is dwarf make. This stone is etched with runes in the Suulan dwarf language. And it basically is a religious icon that praises Kara, the great goddess Kara. So you recognize immediately you're on the path of the Karagon dwarf clan, right? This block is the size of a house. This hard stone block, yeah.
Are these dragons that these dwarfs worship? Are they like a chromatic color, or what? Are they just are they a white dragon, red dragon?
Well, hard to say. You may not have seen many dragons in your life, but for the most part, they are more natural dragons.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. That doesn't mean that there may be very serious powers involved in some of these dragons. As a dwarf, you know of the clans, but you arrived on the island who knows how many years ago, long enough that you've got a tat, you can read the language, you can speak the language, but you were never part of a dwarf clan, right? Okay.
No.
All right. This you get a sense from this too. The sheer size of it. You have to wonder how it got here. They didn't hew this rectangular stone block out of mountain. It somehow has found its way here in this forest. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be the dragon herself brought it.
Now, again, we're getting into mid-afternoon. I don't know if you want to trudge forward. You do, again, have a fairly well-trodden path here.
I say we continue, but that's my vote.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're the trailblazer. Do you want to stay on the path? You want to just follow the path? Or do you want to check your instincts?
I said we follow the path. I mean, getting off the path is we could even lose direction. You know, in uncharted territory like we are.
Yeah, we could. Too deep of snow, we'd have to double back.
Yeah,
And the forest is thick. There's not quite. It's not quite a jungle, overlapping canopy. But I mean, the trees are large. It's dense. It's a thick undergrowth. It's really, as opposed to a canopy, it's a thick undergrowth.
a lot of things to hide
I've
in
never
there.
met a dwarf that would want to go through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. Because you're also a dwarf, aren't you, Donnie? No, you're human.
No, I'm a
You're
human.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm human. That's right. I was just making a comment of I've never met a dwarf that wants to go
I'm
through the forest.
the short one, so.
Okay, as you trudge on, following the trail, you begin to feel as if somebody's watching as you move through this trail. You start to get the sense that you're not alone. Hard to decide whether that is just your gut feeling. As you travel, something you definitely get a sense that you're not. Yeah, you're just not alone.
Okay, she usually she travels, or she's got her crossbow out, and she usually has it cocked. She doesn't keep a bolt in it because, of course, it would just drop out. But as soon as she starts feeling the hair on the back of her neck kind of raise up, she grabs a bolt out and puts it into the crossbow and starts kind of scanning back and forth, looking for what other eyes are on us.
Yeah, at this point, you're pretty sure you see some change in the shadow. Again, it's getting to be later day, so it's getting darker. But you're pretty certain as you scan to your left that you see a change in the shadow, as if something maybe passed, ducked, moved. In the shadow itself changed to your left, probably 12 feet off the trail into the undergrowth.
Okay.
No, you didn't hear anything.
She'll bear the crossbow toward it and let the rest of them know what's going on. It's like, human, elf, we got company.
Okay, I'm up forward. If there's anything crossing our path, I'm hacking at it. I've got a shield, a helmet on, and my long sword.
Okay.
Just whacking away.
What's
that?
I just want to look around. The second it says that, or I want to look around.
All of your eyes working together on it. You now begin to pick up, each of you, that you're seeing this shadowy movement through the trees, but you hear nothing. You're hearing nothing.
Okay, now look. I'm purposefully looking right now, and I've got keen sight, so 1 to 4.
Yes. Yep.
So
yeah, it's not quite dark, but what's that?
I got a 1.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So you now are picking up somebody roughly the height of your dwarven friend. Pretty stout, pretty strong, and they are moving, but they're moving almost so slow. And they may not be aware that you're looking at them.
Okay, I stride over as quietly as I can to the dwarf with the crossbow. And what's your name again?
Ulla.
Ulla. I'm gonna write this down.
Ulla. Ulla No Beard.
Ulla No Beard. Okay. And what was yours, Donnie? I'm writing it down now. So
Hilda.
Helga. Okay.
Hilda.
Ulla, I think I see possibly one of your kind. And I'm getting low and kind of looking,
Mm-hmm.
peering into the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps they're unaware of us. They don't seem to be coming out of the underbrush.
Okay. She'll kind of like look at the elf like, yeah, okay, and then she'll challenge whoever's there in Dwarven to show themselves. So we will defend ourselves.
No
Okay,
response, no sound. Again, Talmar, as you watch, nothing changes. Again, you can see moving so slow, like somebody creeping one step at a time, moving so slow. You begin to pick up a second right off that hip of the other, and a third, and they're moving slowly. They do not respond to the voice. They don't appear to know you're there. You can't from here make out much more detail than shadow.
I just shot Ulla a glance, like when
You want me to
did that. I was trying to keep the down low, basically.
You want me to do a detect magic? You want me to do a detect magic in case something's up with them not being?
I've already distanced myself from Ulla.
Yeah, Eula's gonna try to, I guess, sneak up on him now.
Yeah, I'm kind of going around.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which is what I was wanting to do.
I mean,
pulling her white cloak up and then.
Right. Do you want to take magic, Donnie? Is that what you're saying? You asking me or are you asking them?
Yeah, kind of that because if you're that slowly and they're not making any noise, but it's like they're not making any progress. It just seems to me like something's.
So do you want to detect
play.
magic?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me how you do that, right? How are you doing that?
I want to turn and look into the direction of where these creatures or whatever they are walking slowly. And I go into almost like a trance, and I just start rocking back and forth with my hands the direction, mumbling some weird stuff.
Okay. You guys.
I'm making silence, gestures when I'm hearing this over my shoulder as we try to break around.
As you watch, while she's doing this, these appear to stop, flutter. You now see clearly. You pull up the images of it looks to be 40 or 50 of these dwarfs. As you summon and meditate, eyes roll up. You begin to. It's almost like you're rushed to that spot. You can see clearly now. This is a faint memory or something left over of a bygone era. This is not natural. This is magical, but they are, for the most part, not real. Right? You don't sense that there's not 40 dwarves marching through the woods here, right? But there's the shadow memories, so to speak, of it.
They're like echoes.
Echoes. Perfect.
So
perfect.
I called them over and I'm like, guys, there's nothing there. It's like he said, it's an echo. It's a past memory.
I'm down
going through here.
Speaking because I was almost at the breaking into the area and intently looking in there. So I'm looking it up.
We need to make charisma. We're going to make a morale check for your baggage handlers.
And I always put the silence to them.
Right. So let's check, Dell, your baggage handler, your second character. Add your charisma roll. We're going to make a morale check for your baggage handlers here.
Okay. Roll under charisma?
No. You just roll die 6 and add a modifier if you have a +1 or a +2 or -1 or whatever.
Dang it. I was hoping I had 14 charisma. I know 6. Oh, no modifier.
6. So as you sense, as you're giving signals, suddenly your partner or your aide, your assistant, is right beside you, weapons drawn, furrowed brow, ready to fight whatever may be there. Let's do the same for your character, Ulla, your assistant.
I rolled a 5.
Okay. No modifier?
No modifier.
Okay. The same. Drew weapons, has put baggage down. They're right beside you, ready to engage whatever it is you're all looking at. They're not spooked by this. As well, Donnie, for you, if you have a charisma modifier, add it to your check for your backup character.
I rolled a 4.
Okay. Not embracing the idea of conflict, despite this being more of a bodyguard, right? Your other, let's see here. This is Elm more of a bodyguard, not drawing weapons, kind of staying back away from that part of the forest. Maybe hand on a weapon, but not quick to join you. However, you have discovered that this is, for the most part, some kind of phantom echo, right?
Okay. Yep.
You can't tell from it whether it's malicious or whether it is, you can't tell whether it's evil or anything, but
Could have been a battle
It
here.
did appear to respond to the magical energy when you were trying to feel it, see it. It did appear. They even saw it flitter. So it was impacted by that magical energy.
So I let Talmar and Ulla know what I had seen.
Okay. I've already, by this time, I've already put a hand on Boyor, which is the second character, kind of pushed him back and down, and I've already drifted off into the wood line, off the side.
Okay. They respond to whatever you ask of them, but they are aware, they are ready to go if it need be. No cowardice in them right this moment. However, you notice it's much darker than it was when you spotted these guys, especially you, Ulla, as you were the one to first notice them. Suddenly, you notice it's much darker. It looks as though time has passed, maybe a little accelerated or a little slowed. But either way, it's darker than it should be in just this 5 minutes.
Can I tell where the sun was and then where it is now?
Yes, you can look and see the sun appears to have moved quite a bit.
Something's going on. We're either accelerating or losing time, but something's
right. So when you thought it was about 2 p.m, it's farther over now, right? It's almost disappearing behind the tree line, these tall trees. So looks as though you lost 2 hours in that 5 minutes.
The shadows have grown really long, and I noticed that when I break into the wood. I'm keenly looking around now. Hilda has already said something, but it was lost in my focus as I've stepped in there. So I'm looking again as I go deeper into the wood line.
Seeing is not a problem. It's going to be moving through this incredibly dense undergrowth. If you want to move silently, nearly impossible. If you want to move without chopping, and you're going to have to. The potential for catching your robes, getting caught in this.
I'm trying to chop with.
Okay, as long as you're making some way. So you guys watch as he heads off, chopping and hacking into this. At this point, you make to where you believe they were, right? You thought they were probably, maybe 10 or 15 feet from the trail. And again, the closer you get, the more it wavers and appears to dissipate. However, you can hear now a soft hum.
Okay. No tracks, no
this is clearly an echo. It's clearly some kind of shadowy form.
But I don't know what she knows, but I see nobody's been cutting through here. There's no whatever.
Nope. Matter of fact, they shouldn't be. They were moving super slow, but again, it's so thick here. They would have had to been cutting through it as well.
I back out and notice how long the shadows are. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I back out.
All right.
I come back on you'll see me step back onto the thing, and I look at the shadows and say, I believe the shadows are playing tricks on us to
It's like a forgotten memory or an echo that's
Yeah.
going on. That's what you're seeing.
A forgotten memory, but the shadows draw long. We should. I don't feel good about this place. These woods, they trouble me. Let's move on quickly.
Yeah. Now, when he went off from us, did it seem like he was there, gone, an extended
No,
amount of time?
I mean everything normal. When you listen to him hack through, it felt really loud because you're aware of all the noise you make. He went his 10 feet, stopped. Again, you could see the same shadowy movements. Of course, if you're still in not dispel, but detect magic, which I'm sure will linger I don't know how long it lasts. You're still feeling this, and you're watching it as if they are marching through, right? But no,
it's a 20-minute duration.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously that hasn't changed for you as you're focused on this, and Dell doesn't move any differently, right? Talmar doesn't move any differently speed-wise.
Before he leaves, I'm going to take a stick where I can get like a good shadow, stick it in there, and mark where the shadow is, and just start watching if it accelerates or moves back or.
Yeah. By the time you do that, it is dark. You're thinking, gosh, matter of fact, you stick it in, you set it, you step back, and all of a sudden it's dark. I mean, it moves like, right?
Wow.
It's maybe 6 or 7 o'clock at night is what it feels like. The stars are out. There's clouds. The so-called foggy forest so far, you haven't seen any fog, even though it's winter, right?
I suggest that we don't, with what's going on, we don't get out of each other's sight because something may change time-wise. And if you go away out of our sight, it may be a day before you get back, but.
Yeah, I've already when I came out and issued my disturbance with something wrong with this. It's shadows like that. I've already walked to the head of the group, trailblazing again, and moved on. Voyeur, come with, and got my hireling to follow me.
Okay.
So yeah, y'all hear me moving out already.
Okay. And on the trail, or are you going to try to?
I'm on the trail. I ain't going to get off the trail right now.
You got it. Although, again, it's stars in the sky. Clearly, the time has zipped by. It's 6 to 8 o'clock at night. I mean, you don't have a clock, so you don't know exactly. But I mean, it's the moon's up. But Donnie's still. Again, you can still feel the magic. So it's only been 20 minutes to you, right? You haven't yet lost your. You haven't yet lost your detect magic. And as you move along the trail. Go ahead.
I know that it's about a 20-minute gap. I know that it will be a 20-minute gap.
I'm sorry, one more time. You're
Would my
breaking up.
character know that?
Sound like that was in Dwarf.
Yeah, you were speaking in Suulan, man. I don't speak Suulan.
She might consider her. What do you call it? The video quality?
Yeah.
Yeah, I punched mine down a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, so did I.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
So you just want to know.
Saying, would my character know? If my character would know that she has a capability of detecting magic in a 20-minute window.
Yes, because you're level what 2?
Okay.
You've used it before. You know roughly how.
So I want to let them know, hey guys, in real time, only 20 minutes has passed. Not even. I can still feel it.
You're detecting magic.
Right.
Although you guys have moved down the road now about 10 more minutes, you're still detecting magic. Right. Now it feels the moon is directly overhead. This would maybe midnight. And suddenly you're drained. Hilda, you feel the drain of the power of the spell goes. It's been about 20 minutes or so. You now know that you're no longer feeling this magic. It's the spell itself is worn off. Do you want to keep trudging?
I let them know that. I let them know that I cannot feel the magic anymore, but from the sky and how long I am able to detect the feeling of magic, it has not been more than 20 minutes. I feel like we need to rest right here so I can, be because I'm dreaming out, and something's definitely not right where at.
If we rest now, the shadows will take us. There's something foreboding about these woods. We must get through. And I'm like stepping with purpose and constantly urging Boyer on because, I feel if I, go to sleep, it'll take me.
Are you all following suit?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So let's make a trailblazer roll
I
here, sir,
pull
to
my
see how quick.
blanket closer.
Okay. You're all feeling incredibly tired. It does feel like midnight, although maybe 25 minutes have gone by. And you're starving to death, right? You're
Six
hungry.
So we're basically feeling all the things of time passing.
Yep.
But
Yeah, exactly. You feel like you've been up all day, all night. It's midnight, right? You're hungry. You haven't ate. You haven't slept.
Okay,
Make
I
a roll
I
for your
pull
trailblazer.
out of
6.
Ooh,
I
6.
pull out of my bag, and as I'm walking, I want to start eating my 1 day's dry rations.
Okay. So mark that off. Rations off. You guys, you don't have to eat, but if you don't, at some point it'll start to affect you, right?
Yeah,
With
I'm too
modifiers.
nervous to eat, and I've been double timing it trying to get out of this forest.
So you're fantastic time. You're moving quickly. You're following the trail. You're able to maneuver around obstacles like trees and rocks quickly, leading their path for them. And at this point, it's sun's up. And again, it's been about 45 minutes. Sun's up. You haven't seen anybody else on the trail. To your left, Ulla, you notice again, because you're the one who keeps watch as you're trudging and moving and going, you now actually see to your left, maybe 30 feet back in the trees, you can hear now something coming through that underbrush. It sounds pretty loud, like they're making their way through, chopping, charging. As you look back over your shoulder, you think you see 2 or 3 heads bobbing, and then behind them more. This looks like a potential troop of dwarves coming up on this path.
I say we'll get off the path. I let them know what's going on. Let's get off the path and hide and see. Let them pass.
Okay.
Okay. I stopped for a minute, and there's bags under my eyes. You can tell I've whited out a little bit in my coloration, and I look down the road and see it, and in the wood, in the side, everyone, quiet, and I jump off the side. All right.
Yeah, and as you all do, off into the underbrush best you can, and your baggage handlers. By the time you do and get positioned, now it's 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and you now see. You actually didn't see them pass, but you can hear them, and you can see the last 2 or 3 of them, and they are indeed looks like a troop of dwarves in the off the trail on the other side in the forest. Very much like the shadowy feeling, except these are dwarves. These are legitimate dwarves in armor, etc. Yeah.
I work my way over to.
They're no longer a shadow of that thing.
Work my way over to Ulla. Ulla, are those your people?
They're not my people. They're dwarves.
Oh, wait a minute. She's not a dwarf, right?
Yeah, she's a dwarf.
I'm a dwarf. It's just I'm not from these clans.
Okay. All right.
But
they can be the ones we seek. They could lead us to where we need to go. And then I start hesitatingly step out. Okay.
Okay.
My eyes look, like disarray. Yep. I'm trying to put 2 and 2 together.
Okay.
And I'm stepping into the middle of it to call them. All right.
Okay. So you're yelling out?
Ho there! Yeah, I just did.
Yeah, the last 2, and at this point, they're quite some ways. The last 2 stop, turn, and they appear to be coming back through that growth. Same thing you had to do. They're fighting through it, cutting through it. Why they're not on the trail, who knows? But they're not. Within a few minutes, two of them emerge onto the trail looking for you. They don't readily see you because you're not. Oh, you're on the trail though, right? You came out and waved for them.
Yeah, I stepped out to.
Yeah. These are clearly dwarves. I mean, obviously, they have long. They don't wear helms. They have long, scraggly hair, long beards. They wear hide armor, leather armor. Nothing appears to be of metalcraft. Nothing appears to be of. A matter of fact, you would argue their weapons are wood and stone. They're maybe bronze quality metal. If you could just get your hands on an axe or a dagger on their belt, you might know for sure. But they are not wearing chainmail. They're not wearing plate mail.
Okay, I take 2 steps toward them, and I speak Dwarven. I know a little bit of Dwarven in my language. Now, I did put down Baalgard. I don't know if you want to allow that.
Sure, Baalgard. Absolutely, it's the biggest dwarf civilization. So I'm sure, yeah, you could learn it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I say, well met in Baalgard.
Oh yeah. They step back, eyes big, and they speak back. Baalgard is not allowed here. They start to draw their weapons. You are in our territory, Baalgard.
Are they speaking common?
No, they're speaking in the normal dwarven speech.
Okay. Yeah, the dialogue.
Yeah. Well, it would just be Suulan dwarf, right? Yeah. But you're speaking in Baalgard dwarf.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I start speaking.
How many is there?
2. These 2 broke off the end of that group and came to investigate the hauler. And they haven't appeared to notice you guys in the brush.
Okay,
Right.
I'm standing there. I am sorry. I mistook you. I needed to find out if you were Baalgard.
We are not. Suddenly, you all realize it's late afternoon. We're going to have to all make saves to see if we start to feel the effects of fatigue here, folks.
Okay.
We're doing the class save, not the chart. So this is your normal save. So for a 2nd level dwarf, I don't know.
Is this magic?
No. This is your single
Oh,
save.
just general. Okay.
Now you still get the modifier for the dwarf with magic. You still get the dwarf magic modifier, whatever it is for the dwarf, but you're rolling the single save for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Constitution mod?
This is a magic save, so
Okay,
whatever.
So I get a plus on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a +4.
Yep.
Okay, I made it.
Okay.
So
So you-
I did not.
So Donnie, you are really exhausted. I mean, you feel like you've been up now 2 days. Really tired.
I made it.
You two feel it, but you're so far you're feeling like, okay, I think I'm in charge of myself. I think I've got some grip on my fatigue.
Constitution.
Yes, but Donnie, you're really feeling. You might even, you might have trouble casting at this point. You're so tired. If you do have any spells left, you might have trouble.
Yeah, I
casting
have
this.
one spell.
These dwarves look over their head as it gets dark, and they look at you. Is this your doing?
No, the same as you. We know not what does this. We're on a crusade to pay tribute to Kara. We're looking for her clan.
We are Karagon. What do you have? Why would you pay tribute to us and our god?
We hear that you grieve for her.
Grieve for her? Why? She is at her peak. She is strong. She is a worthy god.
This is good to hear. This is good to hear. We heard there was rumblings of that she was somehow sick,
Sick.
near death.
Who would tell you such things?
The perhaps the winds of rumor. I know not where it come, but we had to find out. We come to pay respect for her. We've traveled far. Could you not lead us there? To your clan leader.
Yes.
Let him speak with us.
Fall in, and as he starts to turn again, it's you can see now again it's darker. The stars are out. As he turns, though, they look at the trail as if they can't believe it's here. The guy looks at this dwarf they both look at it, and then they decide to stay on the trail and go into full run to catch up to the others. But they're you can tell from the looks on their faces, like, where the hell did this trail come from, right?
Okay.
Okay.
I turn around and usher everyone. Hey, everyone, quick, come. They led us to where we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I slowly try to get out of the brush and onto the road, and I'm kind of walking, like limping, and because I'm hurt, and so I'm like, I need to rest, just like that.
But they run ahead of us. This is our chance to get out of this.
Can I see where they're at?
They're only a few feet in front of you, starting to follow the dwarves. The dwarves are making good time up the trail. These two.
Yeah. I could cast sleep spell on everyone.
You certainly can.
Now,
Now I'll make you make a check because you're so tired, but
Yeah.
you certainly could.
I want to just put everyone to sleep.
Okay, in your entourage.
Not just in my entourage, but the dwarfs, because
Okay.
I heard as well that the dwarfs don't know what's going on, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking I might be able to convince them that it's just a part of this dark magic.
okay, I'm standing in there beckoning everyone.
So
come out.
all I'm going to ask you to do is make a wisdom or you're a magic user, so intelligence and below check. If you have a modifier, add it to the intelligence. So what do you have?
So my intelligence score is 15, and I have a +1.
So
I
you need to roll 16 and under is how that works. 16 and under.
Okay, awesome. 4.
Okay, so now what we have to do is to see how many HD you actually put to sleep, right? Where is that at in the book? Sleep.
62.
So you need to roll. What do you roll? You roll 2d6, is that right?
D6, yes.
Okay.
I got an 8.
8. That's going to be that. Okay, so I'll roll. Well, let's just see. That's you, your backup character, Dell's character, your character. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Well, I'm gonna.
Well, I get a save for that with a +2 bonus.
It says
sleep is no save.
No save.
No save. But the problem is, you only get 8 HD. So who you want to cast it as far as the dwarf, right? The dwarves. So that's those two go down. Who else do you want caught in this? That's 2 down, but I won't say how many HD that is. But that's 2 down.
I want the helpers to go down, because I think if everyone else can stay awake, they can guard. So
okay, those 3 do, along with the two dwarves. They all stumble along. They're already so freaking tired that it actually doesn't take much for them to, sit down, boom, doom, snoring. They're actually sitting among their gear, snoring.
Forward,
right.
And it kind of collapses, and I have to lay him down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're almost. They're so tired. It was pretty darn easy to put them down.
Get up! And I'm trying to drag him up.
I looked at him and laughed, and almost like a cackling laugh. You're not going to wake them up. I told you I needed to rest. And I just
you did this,
kind of slumped down in the middle of the road and just kind of trying to keep myself warm with my blanket and trying to meditate or whatever I need to do to rest and to try to get my spells back.
Okay. Do you want to let yourself go to sleep?
I'll let myself go to sleep. I'm confident my 2 party members will not kill me in my sleep right now.
So she sits down, pulls tight, obviously ignores what you said, and you hear her maybe breathing heavily, deep sleep.
Yeah, snoring. No, snoring. Straight up snoring.
Right.
Like I said, we're going to Hagville with her.
Right. You now see the full moon again as the moon is crossing the sky pretty quick. And this, the reality is, you may have only been out here for an hour and a half, and you're going into your second day.
She's ruined the whole expedition. And I'm tugging on her. I walk over to, they leave us behind. She's put a score of us to sleep. And I look around for anybody else awake, and I see Ulla is obviously awake. We're the only two awake, right?
Oh, you're muted. I was going to say, I can't hear her.
How's that?
That's cool.
All right. Yeah, she just kind of sits there with her crossbow, kind of looking around, contemplating, do I shoot the magic user, and can I get away with it?
Yeah, I stomp toward her, all right, and I push her over.
Oh yeah, she stumbles, she falls
Unless
over, but
wibble wobble, she's gonna fall.
yeah.
Over.
Again, you guys need to make saves against fatigue for me. You wake up when you're kind of pushed over, but you feel like you've been asleep for hours. You feel pretty good. Right.
What a great rest.
Mm-hmm. You feel like you've slept 4 hours, right?
You see me? I've got like bags under my eyes.
Yep. You guys are, obviously miserable. Yep.
Okay, I need to make a save on this, right?
Yep.
Okay, I don't add no plus. That's a 1.
Okay, so you're now going to be at a negative if you don't get some rest, right? You'll start having negatives to your rolls.
Oh, roll a 19.
Okay, so again, somehow your Constitution
Dwarven Constitution.
Right? But again, Hilda, you feel pretty good. You feel like you've had a nice 4 hours of sleep, right?
Nice. Do I get my spells back, most importantly?
Well, you have to meditate on that, right?
Okay, so I want to sit and meditate.
Okay. What are you doing?
What are you over to the dwarves and looking to see if I can rouse them awake?
Yeah. You just have to joggle them to wake them up. They awake, and they look at each other. They don't know what's happened. They stand up and they go, "My, we were tired. I don't even remember laying down here. This is dangerous.
No time to lay down. The shadows.
Why did you not wake me sooner? The light comes up." And again, you see now dawn breaking behind you, right? Or in the east. Dawn breaking in the east.
Yeah, I'm trying to drag them up, get them ready.
Oh, they're up, and they feel well rested. They look great.
His face, Boreor, awake too.
Yeah,
get up.
And they're all awake, feeling really good. You should rest. You should rest, Talmar.
Now, with this passage of time, how it's going, are we seeing like accelerated weather or?
None of that appears to have changed much. If it is, it's the degrees of which it changes aren't drastic, right? Right. It isn't like seasons or anything. It isn't like you're passing months or seasons. I mean, it's accelerated time, but it's maybe at night it gets colder, right? And then are colder in the wee hours of the morning, but
no rain showers.
No, and again, weather patterns may change if there were some, but right now there hasn't been any change in weather patterns.
Okay, what about while we're sitting there watching clouds, or clouds look like they're just flying across, or
they're moving. They're moving. It's all accelerated, right? But when you move around, none of your movements or the movements of the dwarves, none of that is, right?
Yeah.
But you're definitely seeing you're seeing the acceleration of either the planet, right, or something. And again, there's something magical here, as Donnie's character's already tapped some magic.
I'll look back to both the human and the elf and just go, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Never.
I don't know what this is.
The magic users, you guys could make an intelligence or wisdom check.
You and your wiggly arcana stuff.
Mm-hmm. You could maybe,
I wouldn't do that.
Okay. Either one, whatever's higher, add your +1 and roll under. Dell, you're going to be rolling at a negative because of your.
So I need to roll what? I need to roll
16 and under for your intelligence.
All right, I rolled a 16. I was afraid that if I got a 16 it was, but yeah, I got a 16. I was
Okay.
like, no.
How about you, Dell?
I got a +1 on intelligence. So, but that's a
That's
wash.
gonna wash out with your -1. Yeah.
Okay, I got 12.
Okay, so that's under for you.
Yeah, it's under.
As you look at each other, as she says this, you start to say, it seems I remember hearing something like this when a dragon god is passing, when the death cries upon a great and powerful dragon. Much magic is unleashed chaotically upon the region, upon the world. This could be part of the death cry.
Okay, so Helga is saying that because I've already stated that I didn't know, and I'm a little bit frazzled.
Mm-hmm.
I want to turn to the dwarfs, and I pull out my spell book, and I'm shaking it kind of towards them, and I'm like, please, if you will just let my friend rest, both of my friends, and I point to the dwarf and the elf, please, I promise you, I have a great, mighty spell in here. I shall share it with you. Please, if you just, I will share it with you once we get to where we're going, but can we just wait and let them rest? Look at them.
Of course. Something is amiss, and you speak of our Kara being ill. There is something amiss. Hurry, rest. Do what you must.
You yourself said Kara wasn't ill. This is
yes, but she just tells us
with this forest, and you know the way out.
I look at him and I'm like, you need rest. Don't make me put another spell on you, just like that. Just straight up threatening.
Want to lure me here to stay forever. We need to reach the boundary, and I'm stumbling forward. All right.
Yes.
Trying to push the dwarves.
So make a trailblazer check with a -1 now to your roll.
Okay, so that's a wash too.
Yep.
All right, 4.
Okay, 4. So as you try to stumble by them, again, you see now the sun is in the middle of the sky, and as you stumble past the dwarves, you start to see them change slowly as you pass by them. As all of you pick up your gear to start to follow the crazy, mad Talmar, on his mission. And you see the dwarves, it's as if they begin to fade and change into this echo of something, right? That you witnessed in the trees an hour or two ago, right? Suddenly you realize that they are literally a ephemeral kind of blurring shadow as you march down, and suddenly you notice the time seems to be back to normal. It's when you look up at the noon sun and you trudge down the path for about 20-30 minutes, it appears as if it's moving normally. And these dwarves turn into the shadowy kind of echo.
Beckoning them onward, and I don't see them. Where have they gone? We must reach the border of the forest.
They faded with the other ones.
Well, you're in the forest. You're in the forest now. You've been in here 3 days, but you've only traveled 2 hours, right?
Yeah. I mean, what she's saying about the dragon just didn't gel with the fact that they said that there's nothing wrong with it at the height of the power. Mm-hmm. All right. So right now I'm looking at it, they're gone. You just see confusion wash over my face.
These dwarfs could have been from the past because, looked at them. They were using crude weapons and hide. It may have been when or is it a she?
Yeah, I know that out of game, but my character, when I'm there, I'm just playing him the hell because he's tired right now.
Yeah.
He just wants to get the hell out. She said this and that. He can weigh those possibilities when he's a little bit more cognitively aware of things. So he's stumbling forward and down the road, as
you've made your trailblazer check, which helped you move through this phase. Yeah. But you're stumbling. They're all watching you. Somewhat pathetic watching you stumble.
We're taking bets when he's going to pass out.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I turned to the dwarf, like get close to the dwarf, and kind of whisper to her, "Do you think we can just hit him on the head, just enough to knock him out, so he can get some rest? Because he's not going to make it at this rate. It's not good. We need him to be strong. He's not strong."
Okay, I'm like, Boyor, follow. All right, and ushering toward Borio, which he's a small individual. And he runs up. He's carrying some of my stuff. So, and I'm staggering. It looks like I'll pause every once in a while and look for direction, and then head on.
Still on the trail. You begin to see. You actually stumble in sight of what appears to be a caravan of dwarves ahead, about 100 feet. Again, it's about 2 p.m. You've traveled another hour and a half or so, exhausted, spent. They're all following you, watching, waiting for you to just collapse and kill over. Meanwhile, you are now catching up to, it looks like a caravan. This caravan is clearly dwarves. They're clearly in modern, plate mail gear. They're carrying, they are not a figment of your imagination. They appear to be real. You can hear them. They're moving along. You start to see the trail here widens, and you start seeing stone blocks now. These stone blocks may be 200 or 300 pounds. They're waist high, and now every 50 feet to 100 feet, you see these stone blocks marking each side of the trail. They grow in size as you see the forest open. As you travel on and stumble on, after about a mile and a half following this caravan of dwarves with a wagon and horses.
Oh hell, I'm already like we've right time I see him, I'm like, we found you. We found you. We caught up with them. Looking over my shoulder.
You all can see this is not the same group of dwarves, but your friend is somewhat delirious. So he may think they are, but you guys can all clearly see these are dwarves. These are Karagon dwarves.
I shout out at Talmar. Talmar, come quick! Hurry!
They march in a deliberate pace, heads bowed, following this leader, and it's probably 20 dwarves. There's 2 wagons pulled by mules or donkeys. And they are marching in line, and they are in a deliberate pace, heads bowed, and they are clearly in mourning. Right? They are clearly showing reverence to the death cry that you're supposed to be here for. Right?
Yeah,
I want to try to get Talmar's attention.
So stumbling forward, I go up to the nearest one. When I catch up to him, and put my
Talmar, get over here.
See, we have found them. Lead us
That's
out.
not them. Talmar.
He shrugs, stands away from you, human. You show offense. We are here for the dying of our God.
I am Suulan, and then I stop and catch myself, and I start speaking in Dwarven. Mm-hmm. We have come many leagues to pay homage to Kara, and speak to the clan of Karagon. Are you not?
We are part of that.
Back it up. Okay.
Then you need to show respect. Fall in line and show reverence while we march to the stone city. If you are with him,
what has befallen you?
Befallen us. Our God dies.
Dies, but we saw dwarves on the path saying she was in her prime.
I come kind of staggering up. Ignore him. He's delirious. He has been walking for a long time, leading us. He needs to rest. Do you have room in one of your wagons, perhaps, please? And I kind of bow down, and I want to be like, kind of showing respect towards him.
Yep.
Please, he's tired. He has not rested in days.
Yeah, he says clearly he is your friend is in need of help. He nods to two of these dwarves, and they pile in around him, grab him, and they pick him up, and they start to usher you, Del, if you let them, over to a wagon and toss you in the wagon. At some point, you'll have to make a save here to not pass out. I mean, because to you've been up 3 days.
To see if I pass out, but I'm in confusion. I'll drop my sword, my shield.
Okay.
And Boryor.
They're manhandling you, but you would be you're free to deny that if you don't want to be manhandled here, right?
No, I'm in a state of confusion right now.
Sure.
A ball of confusion is what I am.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna roll to see if I can not pass out.
Right. So it's going to be a save at a -1 with no positive modifier. So you need to beat that 14, I think, for the human.
7.
Okay, so they clearly secure him in one of their little wagons, and you see his feet hanging out. Again, these are smaller wagons. His feet are hanging out. He's on his back, and he's probably not long for this. He's sleeping. At some point, he'll be fast asleep, right?
Just muttering right now.
Yeah, muttering, and he's a mess. He's been up 3 days, as far as you know. They all fall into line again with their subtle chant, and they tell you if you are to come to Karagon, you must show reverence, or many of my brethren will not find your insolence and your lack of respect. They will not tolerate it as we have.
Madness.
In the stone city, they are very dedicated.
I bow my head and I look over at the dwarf and kind of nod, like, get up here, like, let's go, kind of welcoming them.
We'll keep up, but we'll keep kind of out of earshot so we can talk back and forth without them.
Exactly.
Hearing about it, and then make sure that our baggage handlers are kind of staying back a little bit, just making sure we can always keep an eye on his wagon. And that he goes unmolested. No one's going to try to rob him or.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, actually, while I'm doing this almost automatically, I'm just reciting the spell that I had in my head.
Okay.
Spotted in my head through the mumbling, and you'll see me doing a little semantical movement, whatever like that, as I'm passing.
You might actually cast a spell here.
As the fireball goes off.
What is it you're mumbling?
No, I'm casting a spell. It's just protection from chaos. All right.
Okay. You're gonna have to. I'm gonna make you make that roll. So intelligence and under to succeed at that, because you are a mess. If you don't, there could be ramifications.
Oh no, it's 19.
Oh, okay. Okay. So fortunately, one of them comes up. You guys see them stop the cart as you're walking behind. You see them pull your friend, and you see them doing something. He's hidden into the wagon, but you see him over him doing something. Del, they have gagged you. They've tied something around your mouth. They've tied your hands together, and they look. One of them looks back and walks toward you, Ulla, and Hilda, and he says, "Your friend, we have to restrain him. He is delirious. Do you understand?"
I'm just drawing mathematical.
Oh, not anymore. They've tied you down.
No, I mean, I'm just talking about it's nighttime, right?
Well, it's mid-afternoon, right? Remember, the time is returned to normal, right? For now.
Yeah, I'm gazing up while they're gagging me and stuff like that. I'm not cognitively, resisting as I'm just making.
Right.
Yeah.
You think
So,
you are.
we
In your head, you think you're doing this.
Yeah, and looking at the clouds and the trees and the birds and whatever like that, and just
We understand.
Yeah.
He has been up for very long, trying to protect us while we make this journey.
Let me talk to him. I can calm him down.
Yes.
I'll crawl up into the wagon with him. Sorry. Whap! Just put him out so he'll finally go to sleep.
Yeah, you'll see a goose egg just get like that, and my eyes flutter a little bit. Madness. And then my eyes roll back up my head.
Dwarven lullaby works every time.
Yeah, all of them, despite their sober stance. You can hear them all grumble in unison around the wagon. That is the right way, right? The dwarves recognize that is the right way, and
She'll sling her crossbow back up.
They kind of nod at you in respect as you fall back into your position, and they turn and go. This you travel for 2 or 3 hours as the day wears on, and finally, again, as these blocks grow bigger, and eventually the blocks grow into walls, stone walls, as you pass into the stone city. The stone city is as you come through this stone gate, not covered, but the stone actually blocks out the forest around you as you step into the stone city. And you look now upon giant stone buildings, stone streets, the sky, beautiful. This is not an underground city. This is a outdoor city. You cannot see the forest for the walls of the stone city. In the far center of the city, probably 2 or 3 miles. This is huge. It's an epic city in the middle of. There are dwarves everywhere. They're coming from all over Suulan to. That are part of this clan anyway, and you've noticed there are dwarves that aren't part of the. You've seen Baalgard here in Reverence.
They're going to try to recruit.
Yeah, you're seeing there is no hostility, as everybody they assume is here to pay respects to the death of their god. But in the center of this huge city is one large stone building. With long stone steps that climb to huge stone doors that are currently ajar. From here, you can see how large this building is and how large these stone doors are. But you're probably a mile from this building. It's so big. You can see, Ulla, from here that the statue upon this building is of a dragon. You assume that may be
its lair,
the god's lair, right? Kara's lair. Mm-hmm. It's crowded now. This group at some point pulls their wagon over. They lift your friend out gently and lay him on the ground. They look at you and they say, "Now we part ways. Welcome to the Stone City. Remember what is happening here. Be very careful."
I thank them for their help. We'll pull him to the side and we'll bring all our cohorts with us and basically set them in a place where it's kind of out of the traffic area. Mm-hmm. And let's say, don't make eye contact, don't say anything, stay out of trouble.
Mm-hmm. So you talking to Talmar?
Yeah, to our
out, dude.
Yeah.
To our baggage handlers.
Yes, right. Yeah, they won't do anything you don't want them to do. I promise.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless they get scared or something, right? Yeah, right. Yeah.
So,
we must distract them from that one tribe.
Yeah, I can see, clans from all over. What they're doing is they're going to pay the respect, but then they're also going to go, "Hey, come live with us." Mm-hmm. They're going to basically recruiting right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see some as they pass. They carry valuables. You see at the far, again, you're about a mile from this, but you can see as there's a rows of dwarves that have climbed the stone steps to these ajar giant stone, and you see them like they're waiting turn to go in with an offering, it looks like. Some of the offerings some of these dwarves have very little. The offerings could be who knows what. It's not as if they're bringing great treasure. Some probably are, those who can afford it. But others are bringing whatever they feel is an offering to Kara.
This dragon's dying. It's not going to need its treasure. Idea. Sorry, thief thinking there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as a thief,
I'm drooling right now.
Yeah, as a thief, you can't believe the numbers of people and how nonchalant. I mean, they're so focused on their meditation and mourning, but.
I feel like we need to have some kind of offering, whether it's a fake one or not.
They're gonna roll me out.
Well, our magic user fighter, he's unconscious. Let's see what he has to offer.
All right, you want to pilfer through my body?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You find 10 gold. I've got 2 gold. shield, longsword. I get a helmet on.
We'll take the gold. And then when if he asks about it, we'll say, well, the dwarfs demanded a payment for the ride, so we.
Yeah.
And I
You have a bottle of wine.
I give him my 1 gold piece.
I do have a bottle of wine if you want to,
Yeah, wine.
Dwarf-
That's kind of a slap in the face to a dwarf. You bring water to it. Now, come on, you need ale.
That's fine. I'm out.
So so take the gold. We'll combine all our few coins together, and then we'll.
I have an idea. I do have a scroll case. What if I take 1 blank page of my spell book out, tear it, roll it up in there, say it's a very powerful, magical scroll as an offering. It gets us in the door.
But what if they pull our bluff and they actually do a detect magic to make sure nothing harmful is coming in there?
Well,
do you want to actually put a spell on it? Do you want to take time to write a spell on it? Or do you want to just leave it blank?
I kind of want to leave it blank because won't it take me a while to do that?
Well,
I kind of want to.
I would let you spend your spell, one of your spells, to actually.
I would
write
have to rest to do that because I never got my chance to do the meditation.
Right. Well, fortunately you rested. You just haven't meditated.
Yeah. So I need to meditate. Then yes.
Okay.
So
you can do that, or you can choose instead of meditating to write one of the spells instead of memorizing it onto this scroll if you want to. In the same 20 minutes, instead of memorizing it, you would write it down.
So you would be empowering the scroll.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then I'd lose that spell, right?
Only for today.
Yeah.
You don't lose it from your book. You just, instead of memorizing it so you can cast it, you would just put it onto the page, onto a blank page.
So I look to the thief and I go, "This is your
Thief. I'm a locksmith. Thief. That's harsh words.
Listen here, ma'am. So your people. What would you suggest? I have access right now to a sleep or magic detection spell. I feel like we might need the sleep spell to it.
Yeah, detect magic would probably be something they would want anyways when they're doing crafting and stuff. They may see if something they brought in is magic. So I'd go with the detect magic. Sleep would be I think, a valuable resource to spend on the scroll.
So I'm going to sit there and scroll out detect magic.
Okay. And do you want to, your goal is to present it as a detect magic scroll, or are you trying to trick them into thinking it's something else?
Because I'm a lower level, this to me is a powerful spell.
Okay. So you want it to be what it is. Okay. Yep.
Yes.
So you're not trying to deceive them, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Awesome. And meanwhile, I'm assuming you guys are doing that as you fall into the line, right? You start to realize dwarves from everywhere are coming out of the city and out of the woods and joining the stone city, and they're falling into this line. And again, this was you got here late in the afternoon. You're about a quarter of a mile from the stone stairs, and as you now move through the city, dragging your friend. I don't know how you do it. Maybe he's on a blanket, and you're just kind of pulling the blanket along, or carrying him. I don't know how you're bringing your friend here. If you woke
make
him
sure
up.
we hit every rock as we. Ow!
Yeah, exactly. You're maybe a quarter of a mile, and it's taken you another 2 hours of slow going through this. You see dwarves come out. You can see them pass those that are somber, that have obviously gone into the temple and come out of the temple. You hear some are they're not weeping, right? They're not going to weep like we may weep, but there are some clearly disturbed by something that occurred when they made the offering, right? And the dwarf, you definitely can pick up on this as you can see their faces as they talk. As some of the dwarves try to hush them, hush, hush, because again, this is supposed to be a very, but there's something that was amiss when they came out of that temple.
Well, what do you expect? They worship a dragon.
Yeah, it's getting darker, and you now see how huge this stone temple is, and these doors are massive. You can see dwarves lined up on either side that clearly move these doors, these stone dwarves, as platoons, basically platoons of dwarves that drive these doors shut and drive these doors open.
Do we know if like the dwarven clerics, do they actually gain spells from these dragons? I mean, they're from their prayer, or is it more of just we want you to go kill them? Here's more treasure.
Yeah, you would have heard rumor of both. Maybe some do gain something from the dragons. You've never been around it enough to confirm any of the stories you've heard. So
I'll have a discussion with Anna with kind of like, what's your spin on this?
The rumors that you would have heard is that most of the dwarven clans revere a dragon, and in exchange for the reverence, they provide the treasure, and the dragon will aid them in warring with other clans, so to speak, right? But you've heard rumors that some do derive power from their, but it's hard to believe that. You don't know a whole lot of dwarves that are walking around with magical powers, etc. So you question that rumor, right?
Yeah. And with those, it can do this, but it's probably dogma.
Mm-hmm. Right. Bingo. At some point, you see ahead of you, about 5 minutes ahead in the other line, about 16 Baalgard. They've been marching along with you this whole time, right? Slowly through the city, and you see them. They're carrying. All 16 have some offering. You can see how very stern and serious they are. You can see many of the other dwarves, the Karagon and other dwarves from other, like you, outcast walks of life. They give these guys a wide berth. They know how dangerous and violent. And you also know another major factor here. This is Suulan territory, and they're at war with the Baalgard are at war with the Suulan. For them to be here, they had to travel through the enemy territory somehow, not in open. They had to sneak into here to get into the forest, to get into the stone city. So they're clearly here. They didn't just get on the they didn't just waltz into the gap and waltz into the northern trail. They had to have found a way into this region. Right. I mean, there's Baalgard here. They weren't invited, right?
I want to whisper to the dwarf and say you really need to emphasize to this clan that they really need to continue their dwarven heritage and culture and not join up with them.
Yeah.
It can't come from me.
Well, of course not. You're not a dwarf. Clan-wise, this dragon, was this clan, was it a violent one? Was it
all the dwarven clans lean toward war. That's why they revere dragons, to help them battle other clans. But most dwarven clans battle other dwarven clans.
They don't involve anyone else.
The Baalgard are battling Suulan because they want to control the island. So they're the largest, and they've decided we're not really concerned about the small clans. We're concerned about taking over the whole island. So the Baalgard have raised large enough that they want the island. So these for them to be here in the foggy forest, left here with King Suulan, they clearly at some point established this and must have a fairly good relationship with the king.
Now, have they beckoned forth the Baalgard? Have they?
They're ahead of you by just 15 feet or so. When you get to the top of the stairs, now it's dark. I mean, this has taken you till 6 in the evening to work your way up these stairs. You've seen dwarves pass out, coming out. You've seen humans. You've seen elves, people who revere. Again, for a clan, and clans being warring, it's pretty remarkable how diverse the reverence is for this dragon. Okay, you also know this is a female dragon. Kara is a female dragon. You don't know
Does she have any offspring?
That you don't know. That's a great question, but you don't know. Now, if you want to try to make small talk with other dwarves in the line...
Yeah, I'll try to do that and just kind of like, hey,
just talking about... Give me a charisma check. Let's see.
Oh, God. Do I need to roll under?
No. Just 2 6s for a. Basically, you're making a reaction check,
Okay.
modified by your charisma.
Phew, thank God it's not negative. All right. Oh, hey, I got a 4.
Okay, 4. Ooh, okay. They're a little. Now remember, you're using my reaction charts.
Yeah.
They're a little standoffish. They look at you. They're very somber. They're a little embarrassed. Don't talk to us during this the death cry, right? Difficult to get anyone immediately in this line to speak with you.
I'll kind of then at that point really more listen to eavesdrop on other conversations. So I'm assuming I can understand the majority of it.
Yeah, none of them are speaking in any kind of coded language, but you do hear the last 2 Baalgards as they wait now. They've beaten you to the left side line to the top. They wait now until that emissary takes them in, and you hear the last 2, and they kind of snicker and laugh and say, "We will not only have the Karagon, but we will have the great treasure of a Karagon." You hear that final kind of, and there's not many people around them, right? I mean, these people are giving him so maybe others have heard this, but you were listening, you heard it. But if others heard it, they don't want any part of the Baalgard, so they're not challenging, right?
Okay. I'll step forward and I'm going, what do you mean by that statement? Why? I'm going to step forward to the dwarves and,
right.
I said, I just wasn't trying to, but I overheard your conversation. What do you mean you're going to get their treasure?
One turns to you. You see him now, long, stringy, dark hair. They're very pale complexion, long, dark hair. All of them have long, dark hair, dark eyes, dark. I mean, they're very dark. Rotten teeth. Their breath smells. They're pretty grotesque. He walks to you and says, "What clan are you? How dare you talk to me? What clan are you, woman?"
Oh yeah, that's not. Let's start rephrasing that, son, before you lose some of those ugly teeth of yours.
Do not make me shed blood on the death cry here for the Karagon.
I doubt you could.
I will.
Her hand kind of drops to her hand axe, and the other one's still holding the crossbow. It's not pointed at him, but her thumb is on keeping the bolt in place.
His eyes cut to your hands as you drop one to your, and he looks up and he says, "Oh, you would not get out of here. Save it for after, and then I will kill you. You're a dwarf. Respect the goddess, but I'll kill you after."
I'll be pulling a bolt out of your throat.
He watches you, and as they start to be let in, the one that turned with him calls his name, and he looks and shrugs off. "Go, deliver I will watch this one." And so he stands just staring at you while you move up to the doors on your side. He stays on his side, but he's watching you while the Baalgard all now go in. And it's about, again, 8 o'clock at night at this point. You're pretty tired, too, at this. All right, you've been up. But again, it's only been really a day for you guys. You were awake 3 days in the time.
Talmar woken up yet?
Good question. Are you awake?
Since we've been walking that whole time,
Man, you clocked me inside the head, plus I was up for 3 days, so. Whatever
a dwarf's got to do what a dwarf's got to do.
Make a save to see if you wake up. Now you couldn't go to sleep. Now you can't get woke up. Make a save to see if you can be roused. You got to roll high.
11. Nope.
Okay, so he's snoring, right? It's almost embarrassing. Right?
I'll take his wine, pop it out a little bit on his forehead. Hey. Poke on his forehead. Hey, wake up.
Right. This would wake you, Talmar. You might still be groggy and you might not know where the hell you're at, what the hell's happened, but you're...
I barely open my eyes and my head just flops back.
Come on, wake up. You've pissed off a bunch of Baalgard. They're going to want to fight us later.
What happened? I do like that and I go, and I feel the goose egg. Oh, yeah, what happened?
Oh, the dwarfs in the wagon, they saw you casting and just popped you, put you out.
Those bastards. And I rolled aside, almost roll back. And it takes me a minute because every time I get up, I try to rock myself back to sleep.
Right.
So,
Okay.
but finally I'm sitting up in posture and I get up on one knee.
Here, you dropped your wine.
And thank you. I snatch it out of your hand and upturn it.
By the way, we had to pay a fee.
Yes.
Please don't be mad. We had to use some of your gold because they weren't going to let you ride that wagon for free.
I look like I steam up for a little bit and I look around.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll square up later.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's dark for you non-dwarfs. They don't have many lights here, right? I mean, at eight at night, it's dark here, and they're not lighting torches. Tough. If you can't see, all right, tough, right?
We'll explain to him where we're at, what has transpired, and how he pissed off the two Baalgard dwarves that are going to come after later.
Does any of you guys have torches?
Yeah, I do. I guess
Would you mind giving me one?
It costs you too cold.
I have no gold. I am but a little old hag with nothing. And I kind of take my raggedy clothes and show you I have nothing.
You put me asleep, you witch.
No, it was not her.
Rest.
You were attempting to cast a spell, and the two dwarfs in the wagons put you out.
Yeah, I lean down real quick and go through my backpack, make sure I've got everything, Mm-hmm. I'm looking at both of you suspiciously, especially the locksmith.
Mm-hmm.
And pass you a torch.
She just grins. I'm used to it.
Take your torch.
Thank you.
Do what you must. My head. I need some balm for this. Some cure.
Really cranked on you. I mean, all I saw was a club before I could stop them. Pop!
I reach in a little, something like a mint leaf, a bay leaf or something like that, put it on my lip. Maybe it'll ease the pain. All right.
Okay. A few minutes later, you start seeing some of the Baalgard come out one at a time. Their expressions haven't changed. You've seen many come out very disturbed, but these guys, they come out obviously they paid their respects, but they are here on a mission. They've got a different goal. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it in their demeanor. They come out one at a time down the steps between the two lines, pushing those that stumble in their way out. The leader of them stops and he sees the one that you had a conflict with staring across, and he looks at him and looks at you, and he says, "Eyes off the woman. You can have women later. Come." And he grabs him by the beard and pulls him as they fold in line down the steps and back into between these lines, back into the stone city. You see the last two as they stumble out, going, but when do we get to speak to the when do we get to? And he hushes him. Hush. We will make our plea later to to the steward. So you hear this on the last two as they pass out. They pass by you and down the stairs. Yeah. An emissary stands before you. He looks and he says, he bows and he says, "Follow me. Careful if she communicates with you." And he turns and he's dressed in robes. He's clearly not. If he was a warrior or is a warrior, he's not dressed for that occasion. Yeah. You would argue he would be probably of a priest class here, especially in an emissary between the goddess and the layman, right? Leads you through dark. Again, you can see okay, dwarf, and it's your group. There are no other groups going with you. They take your group and pass into some darkness. Let me see what my.
I'm elven, so do I see well as well?
Yes, you do. I'm sorry, I forgot you were elven. Yes, and they haven't treated you. Again, they don't seem to care whether you're elven or not, right?
I glance over my shoulder and taking stock of the Baalgard dwarf. How many of them?
Oh, there were 16, but they've done their business and they've already evacuated the
I know
temple.
their language, so I was listening to them as they passed.
Yep.
Make note of that. And when we get out.
Yep.
I'm kind of keep an eye, seeing if there's any exits or easy treasure.
This is huge. As you look up, you realize you're in a huge hollow stone temple mass. You see huge blocks that are hewn. Again, how these blocks got here, whether they were carved here or whether they were positioned here, even as a dwarf, pretty remarkable, right? You've never seen it like this. As you pass through, there are stone steps. You go up and you go down and you wind. And as you work your way through this temple, through the size of this temple, as they march you in the darkness, you see now and you hear the rails, the breathing of this echoing now through the chamber. I don't know if you know what rails are, but when you breathe and you rattle, right? If you've ever been around somebody with a rattle, except this is on a giant beastly level. The rattle of the breathing echoes through the chamber.
So
it smells of. I'm sorry, Dell. I didn't hear you.
So it is true. She draws her last breaths.
Mm-hmm.
I say as we're walking down,
Mm-hmm.
because I was kind of unsure from the misinformation
Mm-hmm.
being fed to me.
I want to light that torch, by the way, so I can see.
Okay. So you stumble along behind, scraping, snapping until finally you get it lit and hoist it. Now you're starting to see, at least in 30 feet of you, what they're seeing naturally. You all see now the climb of stairs up to this huge beast. The biggest thing you've ever seen. Maybe its eyeball the size of your torso, right? One eye. Nostril as big around as your head. All right. I mean, your shoulders.
Yeah.
It lay not piled on coins, right? There's no treasure obviously here, other than all of the offerings scattered. You can see now scattered on the stone steps where people present it, and then somehow that it gets put on the steps around it. There's no candles. It is utter darkness other than your torch. Its eyes flutter and are there as it breathes. Though, as you get closer, you top the steps, and you're now within 6 feet of its teeth, and you can see its age now, broken teeth, scales missing. When it breathes, there is a green kind of smoke that'll tuff out of its nostrils. You can smell this sharp chemical, sulfury smell. Bubbles from its edges of the corners of its mouth will pop and bubble. You'll hear the hissing as some of this saliva hits the stone. You can see around it, where as it has been drooling and dying, it has left divots in the stone as it smolders and burns. You get a pretty good idea that this thing probably belches acid of some type.
When it breathes out, I'm going to take like an empty flask and let some of it go in there, then close it up so I have the breath of their dragon.
Yep. And at some point it raises an eyebrow, and the priest steps in quietly among you and says, hopefully out of earshot of Kara, say your piece. Again, be wary if she speaks to you. There is a power still here greater than you can imagine, and she is in her death cry. Make your offering. Say what you feel you must say. One at a time, if you all feel you must speak. And then he steps aside and just bows, leaving one of you to address Kara.
I say the dwarf goes first.
I'll take the scroll and I'll walk up and I'll kneel and I say, accept our humble tribute to such a great creature. When you pass, the sky will be much darker without your presence in it.
You hear almost like a gurgle, rumble, as if thinking of speaking. Make a charisma check for me.
You want me to 2d6?
2d6. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2d6 reaction check.
Oh, a 12.
Woo! Eye slowly flutters awake, and you can see it's kind of misaligned. And then
That lazy eye.
right, and then it kind of it aligns and tries to focus as it you can see literally the eyeball focusing on you as the eye flutters, and the head tilts up as much as it can, and a large acid saliva drops, hitting, and it leaves this sulfury smell or this stench as it burns the stone, and she looks and says, "You are," and as she does, make a save versus breath because she belches out this acid cloud.
I rolled a 9.
Ooh, okay,
So
so
13.
okay, that's gonna probably cause some damage here, unfortunately, as you're within range. So let's take a look here at this dragon. Hold on.
Oh,
Where
that
is
can't
it?
be good.
I may have to get my other book out. There it is. Okay. Whew. Okay, so that is 4 points of damage as this acid cloud of poison, as she doesn't do it on purpose. It's just, it's like it spews out. All of you have a chance to step away except for him as he's right there. And then she says, you know of Kira. And again, another stream of, but this didn't shoot out. It just kind of out of her mouth. And her eye follows you around as if it's trying to focus. Just the one eye.
I've heard of you. I've heard of your great deeds. I am sorry that you will soon be passing to the afterlife.
Her eye opens wider, and she now works hard to pull her head up off, and her mouth hangs open. And again, now acid pours from the under her tongue where there's the pocket of fluid, and it pours now from the sides, hitting. You all have to step away as it burns by your feet, burning some of the offerings as it pours down. And she tilts her head up, kind of lollygagging, or what do you call it, lolling, and then says, "You speak of my demise," and again, out of her nostrils, clouds. And she says, "I speak of Kira. Do you know Kira?" And it bubbles out more acid out of the front of her tongue, off the front of her tongue. The priest now at this point stepped 2 or 3 steps down and away. He's looking now nervous. No one has roused her like this.
I
Yes.
want to step forward and be like, I am humbled by your greatness. I fear I do not know this Kira. Please enlighten me, Your Highness. And I'm kind of saying that awkwardly, kind of because I've never seen a dragon, and I'm just like in awe at this point. Mm-hmm. I can't control myself.
She squints as she looks toward the voice, and says, "The torch," and spews acid at the torch. So just make a save for me to make sure you don't get any sprinkles of it. As she burns this thing completely loose from your hands. You're making a versus breath.
Okay. Oof. A 1.
Okay, she wasn't aiming at you, but
that's my torch.
You got a little bit. You're gonna get a little bit on you. Oh, 3. Gosh, you guys, I tell you, 3. So, but the torch is obliterated in this spittle of acid, and then her eye focuses, and now she seems to find focus, and she looks now clearly at you, dwarf, and clearly at you, and she says, "Kira," and she leans right down into your face. I mean, now her teeth are right in front of you, and she whispers to you, whisper to her. This echoes; all of you can hear it. And again, you can feel the acid cloud as it engulfs your head. You can hold your breath, but only for so long, right here. And she says, "My child, you know Kira. You must find my child." And this bellows out. if you're going to respond, you'll have to make a save because you're holding your breath, right? As this cloud of acid smoke engulfs you. I'm talking to you, Donnie. Not you guys haven't been. She's right in. She's right in Hilda's face.
I want to say, as I'm kind of dumbly reaching for it because I want to pet her little nostrils, like, because at this point I'm just in awe of this big dragon. Where can we find her? As I'm like coughing and stuff.
While she's trying to pet it, you is just like, oh my god.
Adele, what are you doing? I mean, you're doing what you're doing, right? You're just sitting there. You're just kind of.
I'm taking everything in, and I'll let you know when I make my move.
Okay.
But I want to see if she's still standing in a second.
So, did you breathe, or you just patted her on the snout?
No, I'm trying to talk, so I'm breathing.
Okay. So you'll have to make a save, unfortunately.
I'm trying to say, where can we find your child?
All right, make a save. This is just versus poison, right?
Poison? All right, so I failed it. 8.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I think that was the same, wasn't it? Hold on, sorry. I should have this written down, but I used the book mostly for this. Woo. Okay. So, all right. So you take 6 points of damage as you're engulfed with what?
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Oh, you guys see her. She reaches out and she says this. But clearly, she's overcome by this thick cloud of acid. She falls to a knee. You see her start to writhe as the poison just saturates her lungs and her mucous membranes. And she topples over. The priest steps away, grabs her, and starts to pull her away. And you see that she is convulsing, feet kicking. And the dragon now, she leans up and looks at the dwarf and says, that was not intended. And she growls out this response.
She's like, yes, I know sometimes just being in the presence of your greatness, things like this can happen. She'll be okay. And I'll kind of stand in front of her so he's not watching her twitch on the ground. And where can we find your child?
That is for you, Kira. But my clan, if you can recover my child, the clan will have a new god. The bringer of the gods to the clan can ask anything. And she spews this out. Of course, how close are you? I mean,
Close,
she was tapping him on the nose, right?
Yeah. Close enough that I'd probably get hit because she's not going to show any fear at this point.
Okay. So make a save. See if you get any of this poison cloud. Save versus poison.
Ooh, I got a 16 plus 2, so 18.
Okay. So again, you feel it. You're able to just step away, hold your breath as the cloud just maybe leaves a little residue of this this chemical, this acid on your armor or on your chest as you kind of step back enough as it flutters, almost like dust, right? And again, as saliva spills from her lips and her mouth, burning the holes in the stone around her, she says, "It would be the Devil's Canyon is where you will find Kira." The priest you hear now, you don't hear her feet kicking any longer. The priest whispers steps up between you two and whispers, "Your friend is gone. Your friend is passed." And he steps away as he lets you know that your friend has died. Hilda's died.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Kira then tells you, "Now I must rest." And
I
then
take 2-3 steps forward.
Uh-huh.
Into the side.
Her eye pivots. The
You're
other eye
dragged
clearly damaged and dead are useless to her. Her eye pivots to you. While facing the dwarf, the eye pivots toward you.
But your dragoness, most high, the Baalgard.
And
They're
the lips snarl at the sound of Baalgard. The
they're
lips curl.
people. Would you proclaim your law, your commandment that do not do this? So if we bring Kira back, she will have a people to rule over.
Mm-hmm.
The Baalgard are.
Yeah, her lips curl at the sound of Baal, right? Her eye twits on you, and then you see it pass over you, dwarf, looking over your head toward the priest. And the dragon, as it attempts to speak again, it may be deaf, who knows? But it thinks it's whispering now. It thinks it's speaking loud enough to speak over you to the priest down below you on the steps, and in doing so, launches acid. So we're all going to have to make a save or dexterity to dodge this. Either dragon dodge breath or dexterity, whatever you think your best chances of. Dexterity and below would be a dodge.
Okay, I'm going to do dexterity with my thief.
Okay.
Okay, I rolled a 4,
Okay.
so backflip out of the way.
What did you roll?
I rolled 11.
Okay. This is your backup character, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yep. I got a 19.
On a save?
Yeah, on a save.
Yeah, so you're good. So you guys all managed to step out as she speaks to the priest in a language you literally have never heard. Must be ancient dragon or something to the priest. The priest responds and nods and waves you and says, "Now come, let Kara be." As she kind of totters back, like she wants to switch positions, and then realizes she's not capable, and down, head, neck, everything back to the ground, and you see her flutter and watch. And then as you slowly descend down the stairs, as the priest is waving you on, you hear her say, "Kira will save my people." As her last breath, you hear her rumble as the rails start and spew. You hear a belch, and I mean literally just as you end the stairs, this belch of acid and a cloud of smoke just clears over the top of your head as she belches out this vile poison. And you hear her then rumble, almost a soft hum, like she's sleeping, maybe. The priest pulls you over. It's a long walk out here. You remember you walked upstairs and downstairs through this to this throne type thing. And he pulls you to the side and says, Kara commanded me to deny any alliance with anyone until you have achieved your purpose. This Kira is unknown to us. We have never heard of this. I cannot be certain that she was in right mind when she talked about her child. This could be an empty task she's asked of you.
She would know.
How do we not know you're a traitor? It seems like since we walked in there, you told us not to listen to what she said.
Now, who's your character?
This is my elm fighter human.
Elm.
Oh, okay.
Let us find this dragon. And so what? Even if it is a mere delusional fantasy of your god, is
make a charisma check. 2 dice 6. You got to roll high. Add your charisma if you've got a modifier, or subtract.
I got a modifier.
Okay.
11.
Wow. He bows. He pulls his robe open and draws from it basically a not a signet ring, but it's like a gold punch that you would punch in wax and mark with, almost like a stamp. A stamp.
It's a seal.
Yeah,
It's a seal.
Thank you. Yes. and he holds this to you, and he delivers it to you, and he says, "I promise you, I am no traitor to my people. I have never been anything but to the highest degree loyal to her. I beg you to search out and find if this is true, and I will honor Kara's last breath, that we will not ally with anyone until I hear from you. And take this seal as evidence of my commitment to you."
I bow the head and I kind of shove it into, my backpack, and I go, "We shall find this dragon if it does exist." And I just look at the rest of them.
He
But
turned.
at what cost to us?
I'm sorry. What?
But at what cost to us? And at what reward lies in wait if we do this? Did our items not tell you?
Oh, you talking to the priest? Or are you
Yeah.
asking your friends?
No, I'm talking to the priest.
What is in it for us? We get our next god, and
For you.
and we will align with your king.
But we are going to be putting ourselves in great peril to look for this. I think that we are up for some sort of payment, reward, whatever you want to call it.
We have more treasure than you can imagine. We have a dragon god who sits upon great treasure.
I pull out my 30-pound
God is
sack
great for herself.
out of my backpack and I drop it on the floor. I expect 3 of these filled when we come back.
He nods. That can be done.
We will
3
discuss.
of these filled, absolutely. You deliver us the god Kira. You will be honored among the clan, and we will align with who you choose.
I look at the 2 and I go, "Is that suffice for your greed?" Just like that.
Well, I thought that's what you wanted. No, that my greed, big.
Okay. The priest looks at you and says, "What then?"
We'll have to discuss that later, I guess. Right now, we need to go look for Kira, because we don't want to get ahead of ourselves on payment that, if we end up dying, it really doesn't matter.
And what about you? What say you? You must want. Are you greedy like your friends?
Not for material wealth so much as for maybe a piece of Her Highness.
A piece. Careful now. What do you mean by that? Flesh? Her flesh?
She would agree. Her essence would continue. I could hold it. I could host it inside of me, carry it on. A part of her would remain.
And how do you propose to do that?
I have my ways.
He looks, steps away. She dies. If you're to do it, then do it now, before.
Okay. Okay, I turn to Boyor and motion toward him and look at the priest sternly, and then turn on my heel and start walking back into the place.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, he hasn't taken you far. He just took you down the stairs into the darkness. So he didn't take you far from her.
Out of breath weapon.
Right. Basically, right. Yeah. And not yet to the door where there's other people waiting to,
Okay. I want to go down there. I'm going to look for a cup on the way in. Some kind of a
There's helmets, there's cups, there's chalices, there's gold, there's gems. Where people have brought offerings from everywhere, everything from an old sword to yes. As you walk through here, lining the stairs, aside from those that were destroyed by this acid saliva and stuff she's been spitting about. Yeah.
Okay. I'll pick one up. Boyer is behind me, carrying my other items, and I walk up to where we were. Is she still asleep?
Well, so her eyes are shut, and she hums like a soft hum. You wouldn't know if this is sleeping, but it's a soft purr. And at times, again, you hear her rails as her chest rattles as her, clearly she's her lungs or something is, dying.
I'm scanning her
failing.
I'm looking purposely on her for any kind of chink in her armor.
Old. She's ancient and old. You're gonna have to look for that. Now, do you want to do this stealthily? Do you want to do this? I mean, what are you doing here? I mean, is this?
Yeah, I'm getting a look at her. 1 to 4, 6. I don't see anything.
Okay, well, not here, but you can move about her.
Yeah, I'm moving about her stealthily.
Yeah, I mean, you can move about her till you find a chink. Trust me, she's old, so there's a chink.
Okay.
But the key is, do you want to be sneaky about it?
Yeah, I don't want to disturb her. She's rather large.
Okay, so you move around. She's so huge, you just slide without touching her. I'm assuming along her neck, around to her shoulder, gigantic, and you find just under her. She's laying on her right side, the shoulder closest to the ground. You see ancient and old. She's scarred all over. There are holes in her scales, and indeed, you find soft spot.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to put the cup underneath there and put the point of the sword and drive it in and wedge it up and pour some of the blood into the cup.
Okay. All right. Now, to see how talented you are at this.
Okay.
Surgeon-like precision or clumsy fool with a sword. I need you to make a to-hit roll upon this creature and see if you do this in such a way that maybe she won't even notice.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let me take a look here. I got to find the target. This could be incredibly dangerous, but you do what you do, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, make a roll for me. Add. You're going to get a bonus. It's almost like coup de grace in the sense that she's not aware, but you can't kill her, right? So you're going to get a big bonus. So just make a roll. We're going to add 5 to the roll. Die 20, by the way.
Oh, geez. 3 plus 5 is 8.
Oh, you. If not for her age, she would have probably moved at such quick speed. You would have been unable to get away, but she flinches and shifts, head up, eyes. You guys see her eye pop open as she feels something, starts to lift her head. As again, acid spews and spits onto the floor. Your friend Boyer needs to make. You need to make a morale check for your friend Boyer behind you as this thing leaps. Not leaps. She can't leap. She's too damn old, but she's moving.
What about the loyalty thing? How does it affect him?
Yeah, you would add a plus whatever the loyalty is for your charisma, +1 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think so. Charisma's 14. Yeah, +1. All right, what do I roll? D20?
Oh, D6. I'm sorry, D6.
Okay, roll a 1. +1.
Ooh, okay, +1 is 2. He turns and runs. He doesn't scream, but you hear his feet behind. You guys watch him. You guys watch him come running down the steps. His feet on the stone. He goes right by you guys toward, through this darkness.
I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Right. Yeah. He's in flight.
Is he running right by us?
Yes, he went right by you guys.
Can I stick my foot out to trip him?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, he stumbles, trips. You guys, it's making this unbelievable echoing racket through this stone. I mean, this is all stone. As he rolls and stumbles and cusses and cries and whimpers. And the dragon then sees, you see its eyeball focus on this noisy thing as it runs down. And then it realizes that must have been what did it. And she starts to move like she wants to pursue. thinks better of it, and then lays back down. Its eye flickers and back as now she's wheezing. You can hear this. It's almost like a rumble wheeze as she's now wheezing.
Okay. If the sword is made any kind of a.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you stuck her. It's just you stuck her in such a way it hurt, right? But you filled this chalice with her blood.
Okay. And at this point in time, I'll take it that and lift it up to my lips and start drinking.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, we'll have to make a roll versus poison.
Yeah.
I am sorry, brother, but
But
let's put it this way: you succeed.
Yeah, I succeeded.
You will be imbued with the essence of the dragon, right? But if you fail, you have your backup character ready.
He just exploded.
Yeah. Okay, D20, right?
Yes, sir. Save versus poison.
13.
I have no idea if that's good enough for you. What are you,
Well,
level 2?
Maybe throw it as 13. So.
Is that right? Did you make it?
Save 13, right? We want to double check that, though.
Okay, so you are a magic user.
An elf.
You are a save versus poison 12. You did it, right? You're level 2, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So you retch. You feel the burn as your esophagus burns. Your tongue is on fire. You guys literally think he's dying. He stumbles back, vomiting up this acidy blood. He kills over and passes out. Suffer with 2 points of damage, and he appears to be dead, unconscious maybe. As this blood pours from his lips, the chalice drops and bounces down the steps, leaving this acidy, blood along the ground. The dragon doesn't stir. The priest behind you can hear him behind you, kind of like he's very nervous. He's like, well, that's one less person to pay, obviously. He thinks, right? He thinks. You can see as you look at him. Oh my God! What did he do? Is he dead? You can see him breathing, so you know he's not dead. You can see him heaving, but he's in a bad way, right? He's poisoned himself, but at the same time, he's scored some kind of essence of the dragon.
Okay.
We have to go get him.
I'm assuming that this big beast sheds like scales and like claws, and I'll dictate to the priest that I want as my payment 2 daggers made from its claws, not to harvest it. Anything that's already fallen off.
Yeah, I've been thinking about harvesting that thing all.
No,
Our dwarves can do amazing things. Done. Do you want them made fashioned for you, or do you want what we have?
Made for me.
Yes, that will take time.
What? Yep. And out of character, is that the armor made from that scales? Would that be a scale armor? Would that be a leather? What would that be?
It would be. It'll be. It'll basically be a. What do we call it? It'll be a plus armor, right? We can call it. You can call it dragon scale armor with a plus. It'll be like.
Would I as a thief still be able to wear it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's the daggers and the armor is my payment.
Okay, dagger and armor. Now it will take time to fashion it.
Yes.
Yes.
That's understandable.
So it'll basically be leather. It'll be equal to leather armor that you can wear with a modifier, and the daggers will have some modifier. But again, we won't know that until you utilize them. Right? They could be normal daggers. They could end up having some kind of effect to them. Right?
Would this give me any type of resistance to, say, like acid or anything?
The bonus modifier may be.
Okay. That's perfect. Exactly what I want.
It may not be an armor class bonus. It might be a versus acid. It might be versus fire. Right. We won't know any of that until you find out in play. Right.
That's exactly. Yeah. That's cool.
So when something spits acid upon you, you'll find out if that's what its bonus is.
No, but it didn't work.
but it will be like leather armor as far as your stats.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So dragon. So you want this made of Kara?
Yeah.
dragon scales, right?
Nothing, harvest. This is stuff
No.
that I want at fallen, because that I think would be disrespectful. Yeah, I want you to butcher your dragon to make my stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I was wanting to do that too.
Okay. All right. Your friend is you're kind of coming around now here, still retching up this acidy blood,
Yeah.
right?
We're all kind of like he's laying on the ground. We're all kind of like from
Explain
Knight's
to
Tale.
me-
We're all leaning over, going, "Wow, that was stupid."
Yeah.
Tell me what you thought you were going to accomplish with this. What have you heard? What do you think that this was going to do for you? The essence of the dragon, aside from burn your guts out and scald your throat.
Indigestion.
Well, I don't want to really say that now because it'll be a card I play later.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay. Okay. You survived it, so there will be a card to play later. Because it would have been that was a life and death decision. You were either going to die or you were going to right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He at this point he says, "Are you done? We are losing fast time."
Oh,
Right.
yes. We apologize, and we'll gather up our fallen comrade
Yeah.
and leave.
You grab one arm, I grab the other arm, and we just like hoist them out.
Probably out of it and wretched.
Yeah, he leads you out, and he waves. You didn't even realize this. There were other dwarves in this cavern that stepped out and picked up your dead friend, and they hoist her up under arms and legs, and they carry her out with you. So these dwarves, probably guards, lined into the halls. Didn't know they were there, but there they step out. They pick her up, your dead friend, and they follow you out. As you get to the doors. The priest waves, "We are done for the day. Shut the doors." And as you exit out, and you hear the people moan, those that have waited all day. It's 9 o'clock at night. It's dark. It's cold. There's some snow falling now. This platoon on each side of these huge stone doors. After everybody clears out, they shut these stone doors, and you see the priest standing there as the doors shut, as he watches you go down the steps, and he's shut inside with Kara. Everybody disperses. Some stay here. They just flop down and they start to make a bed here to sleep here. They're not gonna line up again tomorrow right there. This is like getting tickets to your favorite concert.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not leaving. Yeah.
So they're staying in these lines. You are now standing among these two lines of some are laying down, some are abandoning. They're going to wherever they stay in the Stone City. You see, though, not far from you, in the darkness, those of you who can see in the dark, you can see the Baalgard, those 16 Baalgard lingering around, clearly curious why you were in there so long and what transpired. They see this body drug out and left on the steps. They see you carrying your friend under each arm. You can see just enough, these Baalgard talking to each other and looking out of curiosity. You have definitely gained the interest of the Baalgard.
Okay, as they're dragging me past, I'll pull up my head, and my lips are all still stained with the blood and dripping, and I'll say in Baalgard to them, "She'll come after you," as they drag me by. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, two of them start to turn and come, and their commander stops them. "Let them go. Let them go. They're but 3 weaklings with a dead companion."
Okay,
You
I say your
was walking
time
by
is not. Yeah, I'll say your time is not, and then kind of throw my head back and laugh. You know what I mean? Deliriously.
As they drag the Baalgard find this funny as they're dragging you away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about it. As you can't even walk, right? Right. Exactly. Okay. So I think this is a good spot to end. What do you think?
I did too. I think it's a great time.
Okay.
Yep. Death is always a good way to end.
Yeah. That was great. That was fantastic. You guys have fun?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's a good setup for what may come.
So, using nothing but my random charts now. Of course, Suul's been written a long time ago, so I have a lot of this stuff in my books. But the time thing was a random seed.
Really?
Nice.
Yep. When you rolled, I rolled 2 others to match. So you said you rolled a 4 for your Trailblaze. That was 4. I rolled the other 2. right? That gave me my 3 dice 6, and that was this time.
So
kind
we
of
were
like
seeing like her past and everything, right? Of her
yeah,
worship.
those dwarves were from the past, right? So when you got back into normal sync, they dissipated.
Disappear.
So the cue that something was happening was you saw them showing up, right? And then it sped up, and then they vanished. And then that other Trailblaze roll you rolled, all you had to do was find the trail, and that would end it. So that final Trailblaze you rolled just ended the whole thing, right? So now my random seed generator was a little different tonight, right?
Yeah,
it was good.
That's good. It populates the world and the situation of what's going on.
It was fun.
Yeah.
To play off of. To me, it was, or at least to my character, it was long shadows, and it was playing tricks on us, and we was stuck in there. So it wasn't necessarily. I mean, that was good. That was good. I love playing off of that, and being delirious. Of course, it goes with the character, the way I've got.
Right. Oh gosh, yeah.
The way I've got him dreamed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I figured
it's a method
playing.
to madness.
Yep.
Yeah, I figured playing kind of chaotic style hag like magic user would be fun, and that's why it's like at first I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm like, wait a minute, she's chaotic. She would totally put everyone to sleep.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. You as this little street dwarf, just
Yeah.
rough and ready to go. Here, let me put you to sleep.
Who would have thought you could have a combat with a dragon as a conversation?
Yeah, the way you was describing the dragon was really flavorful. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
And
I mean, it was meant to be in a way a combat, but it was but it was via conversation.
yeah.
That was awesome, man. Even the way, it was good. That was good. That put me there.
Yeah, Ulla like holds up her flask. I've got the breath of the dragon in it now.
Yeah, you've got that. He's drank blood, and we had a death. We had somebody die at the hands of a belching,
And I
sick
figured,
dragon.
being that she's chaotic, she's just going to be like reaching up and all, and not, about her wits. So.
Well, what I'm thinking is this flask. When we find Kira, we can have her smell it to show that we've been with her mother.
Yeah, it's funny because I was thinking, how are you guys going to convince a dragon that? So that's good. You've got something. Yeah. Because I kept thinking you were going to ask the priest for some proof.
Yeah, just rip off a snatch of skin.
Yeah, but I mean, you didn't, and I thought it's going to be fascinating if you found her, right?
Yeah. No, it's not if, it's when.
Right? How are you going to convince her? Oh, excuse me. We're here on behalf of your mom.
What? Like for sure. I mean, I don't really talk to my mom anymore.
Right. That was fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was good. No,
so I had normally, as Dale will tell you, we do random seed generator, right? So we have context, we have the world context, and then we just literally roll up something and we go. Today, the context, I had this scenario with a random seed generator, so that was kind of fun. I actually had this kind of little scenario, right, with the dragon. But whatever comes up on that random seed generator could have botched everything, right? So,
That's so awesome.
Kind of fun. So
yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. That was fun.
I enjoyed it. This is actually nice. I haven't had a game where you had like a good quest to actually start building to. It's always just from one dungeon to another, which is fun. But
yeah. Well, and for me, I always want there to be more than just traditional dungeon crawl, solve puzzles, dungeon crawl, right? But sometimes that's fun. But I want it to be a little. I want there to be something. And like I said, I wouldn't have populated a leather book with Island of Suul if it was just dungeon crawls. I mean, all that stuff you prepare years ago. Right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's you got to have. There's so much more going on. You want it to have context, right?
Well, whatever you plan, the players will go the opposite direction.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of having a world. Who cares what direction they go, what they choose to do, right?
Well, that basic game is kind of like, okay, I literally probably had 50 miniatures ready for this, and they didn't. They maybe a quarter of it they saw. They just kept going. Let's go this way. Yeah. Okay, kept going away from the.
Yeah. The old story is the game never your prep never survives the players. So don't over prep.
Oh yeah.
Be ready.
Oh, no.
Be
well,
ready.
I mean, there was just the population.
Minded.
They just missed the majority of it. It's just not a big deal. But it's like
Well, Well, in half, I don't know how much of the session, 30 minutes, was just this random seed time thing. It had nothing.
Yeah.
It had
Yeah.
nothing to do with the going to the death cry, right?
See, and what's interesting about that is whenever you do the random seeds, you are just creating that off the fly.
Yep.
And you have to have your mind focused not so much on humongous rule sets.
Yeah.
But
All the random seed says is time whole. That's it. I had to make everything else up.
yeah, so he has to conceptualize this as he's
Right. So I had to come up with what would the time hole be? What would it look like? And so I thought, how about an old platoon of dwarves moving through it? Right? I just had to come up with
even
something.
as you as a player is so visceral just to latch in there and go because your mind's running
Exactly.
and you're focused on what's going on,
Mhm.
and it isn't to where you got to put the brakes on
Right.
and break out the
Right.
rules set
Right.
to crawl.
And I'm a firm believer. This is what I've discovered recently in the last few months playing with the random seed, the naive narrator we call it. Right? You don't know you don't even know as much as the players sometimes.
Yeah.
What I'm loving about it, honestly, is the player decides what the value. So this is the thing. So you prep your butt off, and like you said, the players go left when you wanted them to go to right. Oh, and okay, no big deal. We've learned how to do that, right? We've learned how to adjust to that. But how about this? How about the world exists and stuff randomly shows up, and the players are still going to decide the value of that thing. So you guys could have said, "Well, we don't give a shit about that thing we're seeing in the woods. Let's just get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
You guys give it weight. I don't. It's irrelevant to me.
See, if I would have been awake, I would have been talking to you about stealing it because I was wanting to go in there and harvest the dragon when it died.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. So let the players decide what's of value to them, and that's ultimately what they're doing anyway. So create a space with random stuff that's interesting, and hopefully, and you don't know what people will find interesting, like the game you guys played where you went after Crazy Joe.
Yes.
I mean, that had nothing to do with me.
Gunfight.
That had to do with you guys.
Oh my God, that gunfight.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have to. You really don't have to prepare a thing. Now, again, I had the Stone City, of course, from all my old notes.
Mhm.
I have the Dying Dragon, so I already had all that. But it
was a rough
random
outline.
seeds could have sent you who knows where.
Exactly.
Or you guys could have chased a random seed or been stuck in this time thing. If Dale had never trailblazed, when he said, "I'm getting back on the trail and following those guys," that called for a trailblaze roll. Had he not done it, you guys might have spent a session.
Eternity of time loops.
Exhausted. Yeah, right. I mean, think about it. By the time you got out of it, it could have been 20 years. Could have passed or something, right? Kind of interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's I've never had so much fun DMing something as when I'm doing it naive narrator because you really have to be there, man. It's really weird. Like I was just coming home and then as that I said, well, I haven't did it yet. Let me try it. And you jump in there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden your mind just starts. It's so weird. If you watch any of those ones that I was doing, your mind's like going 100 miles an hour, and you're making
because you're not dependent on a script anymore.
That's
It's more-
exactly it.
Yeah,
Bingo. You just nailed
great.
it.
You
Yep.
feel alive. You feel in the moment, and you feel like a player too because you don't know what's about to come up, and you're having to work on the same way the player does in response.
Yeah, there's no frustration. Oh shit! They just passed the room they needed to find.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's funny because that's been the liberation for me. Even when I went with light prep, I was always thinking, okay, there's something here I got to remember. There's something. It's liberated me that I'm not now even worried about that. It's like, hey, my random seed's been rolled. How do I introduce this? Let's go. I find out the exact same time Dale finds out.
My only problem is then you have to figure out, okay, what did I come up with? I got to write it all down. Remember it for next time.
That's right.
It's
funny.
the video.
Yeah, and I said this
to video.
Exactly, and that's what I said to the guy in our fantasy group. I said, I don't prep anymore, but I'm keeping copious notes. So I'm still working. It's just I'm working post-session, during session.
Yeah.
But I don't have to prep for the session. I'm actually having to remember it and have it for the post.
Well, that way
2061, there was so much crap coming out of our we imagined this space that just took off, and I'm having to scramble, write down the name of that guy, right? So Dell and I are creating this world together. That becomes the work. now for me, right?
But you know what's also a good thing that I do is so I don't have to recap, because sometimes my point of view as a DM is different than the players. I have the players every time I DM.
Yeah.
I will have the players recap,
Yeah.
and there's the solves the problem.
And see, in some games they give you a reward for that, because that way it makes the player pay attention to detail.
Exactly.
Bingo. Well, you can count on our next session of this group. One of you are going to have to recap.
Don't do that. I play too many games.
What I'll do is I'll pull up this video on my phone and just go, here you go.
Yeah. That's it.
I did that right when I get back in the game. I remember what happened beforehand.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like this there, and sometimes like, oh, yeah, that did happen. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, the only thing I have trouble with at 50 years old is little details. What was the name of the damn blacksmith? Oh, my God. And then you're like, didn't I write it down? Where the hell did I write it down? I can remember the major events, but it's like, did I name that guy?
The little NPCs.
And you know, the minute you change his name, one of the players are going to go, that isn't the name of the blacksmith. And I
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, whoops, caught me.
You know what was interesting to me? The last game we played, I think we was playing at Raiders.
Yeah.
And he rolled up the character sheet. I didn't need to see it. I hate character sheets. I could care less.
Yeah, Dale played that whole game and never saw his character sheet. That was
Because
fantastic.
they're limiting me to say, oh, he can do this or he can't do it. Even though, you know, I got a general idea about what this guy is, what his job is, what he does.
Well, you just act from your character, who your character is. You're not acting based on any variables. Right.
Yeah. So I don't want to. Yeah, that wasn't there to trip me up.
That's right.
You know, or either you put blinders on and not even pay attention to it.
Right. And especially in like Raiders is D&D set in 1930s pulp, Indiana Jones. So if you know D&D, you can play even without a character sheet, because you know roughly when I say make a stealth check, you know it's a dice 6 or right. So that's easy for Dale. But if we were playing a game, we were playing modern age, for instance, he would be really acting in the dark. He wouldn't know anything about this system. Which I've done. I mean, I've run Steve solo. He never saw his character sheet in one of our one of our modern age games. He just played the character, and then I would just say roll, and I could look and see if he succeeded or not. And it was actually pretty amazing. But most people want a clue as to what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was a lot younger, I used to play Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh, what edition?" Put it this way, it was called Call of Cthulhu. There were no other editions. It was Call of Cthulhu. I had a character. He was named Sacramento Smith, and I ran around with a shotgun and a flashlight taped to the end of it. So when anything got in my way, I would pull the trigger. And I would try to use the bullwhip, kind of like the Indiana Jones.
Right.
But, you know, this was percentage, how they hit everything. And the base percentage was 5 for the bullwhip, and I was bullwhip it, and the other players are going, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, right. Because you can't.
I would be like, "Yeah, 20," you know. And then I finally, it's like I rolled a 4. I'm like, "Oh God, what do I do now?"
Right.
I actually, you know, I basically was trying to get to a fire escape, and I used the whip, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll swing," you know.
Yeah,
and it's
right. Now what?
I was like, "It actually worked! Oh my God!"
That's funny.
I tell you what, I would love to know how many people saw Indiana Jones and then bought a whip and thought you could do that shit with it.
Oh yeah.
And ended up beating the shit out of themselves. Right? Oh shit.
Well, see, that's the thing is too, is at the end when the one guy melts his face, I thought that's what Talmar was going to happen if he failed the saving throws.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well,
big puddle.
Yeah. He melted his face, but passed the saving throw.
Yeah.
His lips are a little deformed. You guys haven't really looked at him yet in broad daylight, but it's probably going to be pretty grotesque. He might not have a lower lip, right? His teeth and tongue.
Ulla walks up and goes, "Here, I think you dropped your nose. Here you go."
Yeah.
I got some duct tape.
That's right. You know, he thought the essence of the dragon was bad going in. Wait till it comes out.
Oh. Are you done in there yet?
You haven't pissed essence of the dragon yet, but it's like having the clap, man. It burns.
He walks out of an outhouse and it's like flames. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I'm going to play that card later. You are. You actually are.
That's just mean.
Oh, it's so good. I enjoyed it. That was awesome. As usual with you guys, fantastic. I love this stuff, man.
Yeah.
So, a little different than the last few. This one was a little more deliberate in the... I used mechanics that I haven't used since the journey rules for Adventures in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Right, where one person's designated the leader, one's designated the watch, one's
Yeah,
the
it might be a Forbidden Lands.
Yeah, Forbidden Lands does the same thing. That's right. So I did that purposely with this, which I think's good for a hex crawl. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Everybody has a role, which is kind of fun.
I mean, because like when I first started playing, I mean, it was you picked a player. That person was the leader of the party. He would decide left, right, whatever. And
We even used Mapper when I first started, and the problem with that is one guy would end up thinking he decides everything for everybody, and they would end up fighting about it all the time.
Yeah.
So we didn't use Mapper for long. Not Mapper, Caller. So I would love to play Holmes with a caller in a group that's willing to communicate, and then that person has to tell the GM what they've all decided. That would be so much fun to actually do a map. And I don't think anyone ever on YouTube has done actual homes with a mapper and a caller. It would be so fun, especially mature players that would work together to come up with a plan.
Yeah, it's not. I'm looking for the glory type players that I get sick of all the time.
I mean, I think like you three could have done mapper caller. You would have all of those conversations with me would have been with each other, and then one of you would have said, "Okay, we're going to do this, 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 and this," and then I wouldn't have to worry about
I mean,
it'd be kind of fun.
I wouldn't enjoy it myself.
No, because you're in character.
Yeah, that's where I get much enjoyment because
Ulla would just hit you some more. Okay, let's drag him along.
That's the only way you're going to call with me is just knock me out.
That's it.
I'm still asleep.
Basically, we're going to treat you like BS Baracus.
Yeah. And that's Dell and I's biggest dilemma is we both want to play in character. And that's just not easy to do, right? It depends on how people run games and also what system people run gets in the way of wanting to just be in character. But so I'm very aware of when I'm doing things that I know interferes with Dell's in character play.
we had one guy leave our group because he's like, this other guy's just mean to me. It's like, dude, he's role playing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not being a total ass. His character is. He's not, and he actually thought he was being a jackass. It's like, well, no, he is a jackass sometimes, but. Yeah. He's a good role player, and he's like, oh wow, is that why he left? And it's like, oh, don't. That's his problem.
Oh yeah,
I explained it to him.
Personally, I'm like that, dude.
Yeah.
So, question, because my wife's also wondering this: what is the outcome, Jason, of that one role? You know what I'm talking about.
I told them at the end of the episode.
You are. We know you don't.
I was. It's funny. If you had showed up for that session. If you had showed up for that session at some point, depending on the nature of the session, I would have said, every morning you're vomiting, you're not feeling well, But yes, you actually are indeed pregnant. Yeah. I don't even know if Dell knew what we were talking about.
No, I didn't.
He didn't know. I was dropping seeds in the last game. I was dropping seeds, like hitting at it, like, oh, I'm getting sick. Oh.
So there's gonna be little white wolves running around.
Yeah,
lighting buildings on fire.
Here's the thing that's really interesting about that. If she dies, isn't that something? She dies with a baby, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but don't you love that variable?
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a character. Her name, this was 5th edition D&D. Her name was Misha. She was a bard. She had, I think we were trying to cross a river and botched it big time, almost drowned. The other guy's character was Victor Steele. He comes running up, trying to rescue her, pours down a love potion down her throat. So my character fell for his character, and I'm like, and then later on, GM's like, yeah, you're getting a little baby bump there, and I'm like, oh, for the love of God! And so at one point, he wouldn't let my character go out adventuring, so I had to play another character and I was just like, oh my, this just sucks.
Right.
until of course something happened and she actually had to have a dispel magic cast on her,
Yeah.
which got rid of the love potion effect.
Uh-huh.
Oh, crap.
Victor Steele paid dearly for that.
That's right. Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's funny.
I'll tell y'all a little thing. I think it was last weekend. My son and I was sitting down. He had read this book called Artemis Fowl years ago when he was a kid, right? So we see this up on a Disney Channel. So we take a whim. We're sitting there bored and play it. I get to the point in a second here because during the movie there's a centaur, and somebody said, and Jason knows what I'm going to be driving at, but somebody said, I'd like to meet his parents. What? Now we was playing. Me and Jason was playing this game. And Josh James was running it, and Jason was playing Urga. And during the whole campaign, Urga would eat nothing but horse meat.
Yeah.
We was in this hall, and he's sitting out there, and he just stands up abruptly when these centaurs come into the room, and he says, he drops it, and he slack jaws, he looks at him, he goes, but what do they eat when half of them is horse? And I said, so when I'm watching this movie, I started cracking up when that popped back in my mind.
That's funny.
But see, I play in character.
Oh, I know, that was great.
The minute my character sees the half man, half horse, I'm like, holy shit, what do they eat? You know?
Isn't that cannibalism?
Yeah. I mean, it's I love it. That was one of the best. That was a great game too. I mean, Urga was a caveman. Matter of fact, I think Josh James says make whatever you want. So I literally grabbed the caveman out of the monster portion of the book, and my character was a caveman.
Yeah. And I still remember that last moment because we was on that rise, and there was that shaman with a horde of army, and I'm laying down, and we're trying to spy on it. He stands up and just shouts, "There he is!" You know, and the whole army just turns up and looks at him.
Caveman.
What the crap just happened? And we never did pick up. But
I tell you, some of the greatest experiences I've had, either as a player with Josh running, or Josh in those games of basic fantasy. Oh my God.
We had some good games with him.
Oh my God, Josh is a great guy, and it was funny. And he was funny unintentionally. I mean, he's funny because in character.
Yeah.
I mean, his character was funny. He wasn't trying to be funny, right? There's a difference between guys trying to be funny and just playing a character that ends up saying funny shit or something funny happening. Yeah, unbelievable.
No, this was a D&D. I had a barbarian character. His name was Larn. His shoe size was bigger than his intelligence. He, big old muscle dude, typical, barbarian look, Conan look. And we had this prisoner, and the guard were coming, and we're like, oh God, we got to hide this guy. And Lauren's like, I'll take care of it. Turned around, and there was like a chest about half this guy's size. So he grabs him, snap.
Puts him in the chest.
Basically folds him in half, puts him in the chest, and they're like, okay, they're gone. Where's the dude? Oh, he's in box.
Yeah.
No, really? No, he in box. And they open up and went, oh my God.
That's funny.
Dead.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they're like, at one point, they're like, we're I forgot what we were fighting, but they're like, here, go light a couple of those buildings on fire. So they turn around, the whole village is on fire. It's a couple. I lit a couple, and they're all like, "Oh my God!" The whole inferno behind them now, and it's like, you asking me to count? Come on.
That's right.
That's funny.
we had to do that one time. It was the first time I ever really played with anybody who played in character. And he was playing the swashbuckler. So I remember we'd be on the road, and whatever we'd get to the town, and he would go straight to the tavern, want a drink, whatever else. We'd be in planning mode for our next move. You know what I mean? Everybody would be getting like, hey, I'm going to the thing. And he would always break out into fights or start with a woman and another guy and all this other stuff. So he gets thrown in jail. So we're like, how do we get him out? So we set the grain silo on fire. Ended up burning down half the town, but we do break him out and get away.
Right.
What was the mission? What was we supposed to do in the first place?
Doesn't matter, right?
Changed it, diverted off into
That's right. It's funny how you end up doing a worse crime
Yeah,
to break
to
them out
escape
for
them
a
out.
little crime.
I had a character. He was a fighter, and his name was John Delar. And John Delar wanted to always look good. They're like, well, you can get some +1 armor, or we got a cloak that adds charisma. I'll take that cloak.
Right.
I gotta look good. And the guy, you could duel anyone. You could say, I challenge you to a duel. And if whatever happens, if you kill the guy, it's all legal. And John Delar is the type of guy that my saying always, men want to be him and women want to be with him.
Right.
It was this whole thing. And the farmer's wife wanted to be with him. I'm not going to tear it down. The farmer later finds out, and he's like, I challenge you to a duel. Pulls out his little scythe. I've got his big bastard sword. Stop.
All right.
Dead farmer. They're like, you killed him. He challenged me.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I got to check. They're all like, oh my God.
Right.
So I was always that, oh yeah. And they're like, oh shit, John Delar, shut up.
Yeah. End
I
up
gotta
doing
jump
the
off there,
worst
guys.
crime, right?
You got to duck out.
Yeah, I gotta jump off here because I gotta be up at 4:30.